long. But I played Fresh Up.
Oh, look at me! I fucking played Fresh Up.
Hi, and welcome back to the Rat Project's Dungeons and Dragons here on twitch.tv/BishopAU if you're watching on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube. Even. Yeah, sorry, I got that the wrong way around. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, so if you're watching on Twitch, don't forget that all VODs are available on our YouTube channel, which is the Rat Project. There is a link down below. If you're watching on YouTube, good on you, because that channel needs more love. But yeah, you can catch it live at twitch.tv/BishopAU. Sorry, I beans that intro a little bit. But anyway, it's fine. I am Johnny, the Dungeon Master for this here little stream. Joining me, as always, let me unmute your microphones too before I forget.
I see.
Well, I mean, you still come through on mine, but yeah, joining me as always is Tim, Lockie, Jordan, and Scott. And we're going to dive in and play a little more Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition homebrew. So I'm very excited for this episode because last week you guys just fucking had a ball, huh? Because it was a fucking mess.
No, we had a good time.
Yeah, it was great.
So, if you missed last episode, or perhaps you're just starting to watch now, let us go back a little bit, because I think if you're watching this one, you're going to need a little bit of background information.
Why are these Chinese doing?
The party arrived in Calavan, the capital of Tolkala, where they are now, and looking for some coin, went out seeking work. You were tasked by a woman to go and check on a family that she'd sent out of the city for their own protection. Basically, Calavan is not very friendly to elven kind. So, you went off, found the house that she sent you to, and found that it had been overrun by bandits. You quickly dispatched them, all but one of them escaped. And after searching the house, you found some artifacts along with a young elven girl. You took the elven girl into your care, trekked back to Calavan, where the woman who had hired you instructed you to take her to a nearby town which had an orphanage known as Dallas. You then trekked to Dallas to find that this city had a bit of a food problem, a bit of a food shortage.
Which we solved.
Apparently somebody had been stealing food, so you decided to stake the warehouses out and catch them red-handed, which you did do, and upon which they informed you that they were stealing food because they had to give it to a clan of, which you now know were gnolls, who were threatening to raid the town if they weren't well supplied. You dispatched the gnolls and made your way back to town, at which point you found the city in a bit of a state as you had left the warehouses open after you left.
Literally anyone could have closed the door. We forgot about somebody opening the door.
And the city had gone into a little bit of a frenzy. And with you just showing up, being caught in the middle of the night in their storehouses, and then leaving it open, a lot of the townsfolk were pointing their fingers at you. At this point, you decided to crash tackle one of them, punch him in the face, and then when they came to his aid, another one of you decided to kick him in the nuts.
Hey, I tried to stop the fight and he threw a punch at me first.
I
Then I kicked him in the nuts.
So, during this kerfuffle, a younger man has been sent off, and you elected to leave the town and go back to the caves where you fought the gnolls, knowing that there was a stone giant deeper in the cavern. So you elected to go back in, and after I think it was an okay battle, you dispatched the giant, and then decided to head back to the town. So we pick up this week's episode as you make your way back through the forest, trekking back towards Dallas. Not rested after the fight, if I'm correct. Did you rest after the fight?
No, you just didn't want to rest in the forest because it was just...
I'm just going to turn the heater on real quick while you guys check.
Well, no, wasn't that... that was before the fight, and I'm pretty sure we ended straight after killing.
Yeah, because we ran over a little bit.
Yeah.
So we ended pretty much straight away. And yeah, you guys, as far as I recall, yeah, you just didn't want to rest in the forest. You wanted to head back to the town.
We could rest in the cave.
Oh yeah, now that everything's dead. You know, like I kind of
Until
like
like night time and then steal them. Go back.
I kind of like to chuck all the dead bodies out of the cave so we're not sleeping with corpses.
Go on.
Were there even no corpses left?
Get over it.
Or did the stone giant deal with that? How are you going to get rid of a stone giant corpse?
You don't. You just sleep next to it.
Drag it out the door.
Go on.
Enlighten us.
No. Just let him do it.
That's not too bad.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Way less obnoxious.
It's like Scott's playing an old lady next to him.
I can't tell if that's just because I don't sit next to you or...
It's not being screamed at you.
Yeah. It's not too bad for them.
Drag it out. Just you.
Yeah, I've got -1 on strength, so
Give it a crack.
I'm going to start with the null bodies. I'm going to drag the null bodies
Why
out
don't you
of
just
the
like
cave.
cut its leg off and then drag the leg out?
Yeah, easy enough to
The
do.
other leg off.
probably miss.
It's sort of a bit sort of through the cavern, but do you want to drag them right out or just like out of the chamber, the end chamber? Are you planning on resting in the end chamber or closer to the entrance of the cave?
Probably in the end chamber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not exactly
Okay.
a
I want to drag them to
luxurious
like
place.
the first, so it, straight bends and then, so I want to get them up in the first straight.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, so it takes a little bit of time, but eventually you drag these corpses out, which leaves you with just the
it's just
giant's
him.
corpse. Yeah, that's what I mean. It takes a while, but
Yeah,
you managed to drag them out.
And I'll drag the stone giant's one out of shooting. It's not too heavy. He was only like a bit over. Less than double our size, right?
He wasn't necessarily that tall, but he was a big boy.
Yeah.
He's still a giant. So it's, give me a strength roll.
Come on.
10.
You like managed to pull him a few inches, but you get the sense that if you're going to drag him all the way out, you're probably going to need some help.
I thought you rolled a 4.
Nah, it's a 7.
You can't even see what's on the door.
No, because when you get it from... What is it? What angle is it? One of the angles, it looks like a 4.
One of the 360.
As Harrison continues to do this, so you guys would know that you slept most of the day last time because you arrived back in the morning, rested for 8 hours, then headed back out sort of by about 3-4 in the afternoon. So by the time this has happened, it's now probably getting around 6 in the afternoon-ish. You would assume, even though you're in the cave, you would assume that the sun is probably beginning to go down.
Yeah, if we long rest again, it'll be about 2 o'clock.
Yep.
And
then we break in.
Someone want to
That's
help me
well,
drag this body out, or...
I was fine with it being here.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
We're staying in a cave. It's not a great place to stay in the first place.
No, but it's better when you're not sleeping next to a fresh corpse.
Fresh corpse is better than a rotting corpse.
That's true, but still,
If you eat it, you get extra strength.
be my guest.
Go on.
I don't need strength.
No.
Well, I'm keen for a long rest.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. Got beat up pretty hard. Don't really want to
More
move it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay,
So
so
I'm just gonna keep struggling to pull it out of my own. I guess.
okay,
Well, I'm
Sure.
setting up my bedroll.
Yeah, same.
okay,
Yeah, I'll do the same.
okay. So
Muscles.
three of you go about setting up a bit of a makeshift camp, rolling out your bedrolls, finding some means to have some food. You had some food left over from last rest, actually, and Harrison continues to struggle with this giant, eventually dragging it sort of like out the door and into the next chamber.
And it's been 4 hours, so we're like halfway through our
Technically, that's his watch.
Eventually you sort of get it out through the door and you sort of have this moment of realization. You're like, it doesn't stink. It's very freshly dead. Like,
Yeah, well, out of the door's far
probably
enough for
stay
that.
here. Yeah.
Like,
If
it'd be
it comes
way-
back from the dead, at least we've got a couple of feet.
At least we've got a doorway in the way.
Okay.
Stone giant, that would be.
So you're taking a long rest?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you're taking in shifts, watching the door,
Did you never get that fucking camera?
and eventually your rest goes by. Eventually, your rest goes by, and you sort of all pack up your equipment and get ready to head back into Dallas. As you make your way out of this cave, once you're prepared, you see that it is pitch black tonight.
So kidnapping, it's orphan napping.
I can see fine.
Same.
It's hard to judge what the time is. Like it's very dark, but there is a faint orange sort of light almost on the through the tops of the trees that you can see.
So that's probably roughly 2 o'clock.
So we did get through our long rest perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna long rest on the other.
Oh yeah, fair.
That's what I just did.
That's not the button I meant to press. What the fuck happened there?
Long rest.
On that fantastic program that we could be talking about more if they sponsor us.
Money.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone's rested up.
Yep.
I'll
Okay.
this iPad holder.
What do you want to do?
Go and steal a child.
I should also say that it's raining outside, so there's a chance that the stream will just go down because Telstra, not Telstra, NBN code.
Oh, I thought you meant
I
indeed.
thought you
Sorry, no,
as well.
I meant.
I was like,
I meant
that's gonna
IRL.
make stealth so much easier.
Yeah,
Can it be raining?
it's not raining.
Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, rain dance, hey yo, hey yo.
It's a racist.
The rain dance.
Anyway, okay, so you want to head back towards Dallas?
So do we want to take our armor off so that we're quieter? Or
No.
I don't.
No.
Allow me to take my arm off.
I don't really feel too threatened by them.
That's like
No.
one rolls.
We just risk it.
Follow the biscuit.
Well, I mean, if you're not taking your armor off, there's no point in me taking mine off. So
Worst case, we
whatever.
just slaughter an entire town.
Jingle bells.
Can we please not do that?
I said worst case.
And it's also the best case. So. I'm down for both.
Please don't slaughter the town.
I said worst case.
I slipped Scorching Ray!
Let's be evil. Let's go evil now.
Evil Paladin.
Yeah.
I'll turn this guy.
What? You said evil paladin. What?
Hell attack rises from the grave.
So-
Bench paladin.
What would you like to do?
Head out.
Yeah, head towards the town.
Pack up our camp.
Yeah, okay, I'm assuming you've done that.
Okay.
But you were discussing like taking armor off and stuff, so.
No, I'm not
Okay.
doing that.
So, you make your way back through the forest and find your way back to the path which leads back to Dallas, and you start heading along. As you progress along this road, now that the road is sort of heading more directly towards Dallas, the tops of the trees are more separated to each side of the road. And as you make your way along, you notice that the orange glow that you thought was the horizon is seemingly a lot closer than that. It seems to be more closer to Dallas's position.
Oh shit, is the town actually on fire? Did you do this?
Well, it's not raining, so.
Yeah, not with water. Scorching Ray.
Is that what it looks like? Does it look like it's on fire, or there's just like a lot of light coming from
You
it?
get
can't
the
tell it's
sense, like, being that it's the middle of the night and there's orange light radiating from where the
Say
tower
orange, I
is,
was like, is there a blood moon?
you would suspect it to be fire of some description.
Maybe we should get a jog on.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we like sort of still stealthily attempt to go faster?
I'm pretty sure if there's a fire.
No.
No? Okay. Makes sense.
by the rules of 5th edition, no.
Fair enough.
By the rules of physics.
So technically, by
Right,
5th edition
flat-footed.
rules, to use stealth while moving, you must move at a slow pace.
Okay. Fair enough.
Alright, let's leg it.
Yeah.
I'm off.
Yep.
Okay, so the old tiefling takes off in a full sprint ahead of you all.
You guys walk and catch up.
Yeah. Okay, so you start making your way back towards the town. As you sort of approach, you get the sense that this isn't just a bonfire or fires emitting from the town. As you get closer, you see plumes of smoke and realize that a few of the buildings are on fire. What would so?
Big guy.
As you approach, essentially, you come up towards the corner of the town and enter off. Like you sort of divert to the left and enter the town, and then the town sort of continues alongside this road. What would you like to do? Do you want to sneak up? Are you heading straight in?
Straight into the orphanage.
So there's either two options: it's the town riding, or it's those guards that have come back to try and get that elf.
Yep. Okay, so
What was the first option you said? What?
Just the town riding.
Could also be that there were more gnolls. I don't know if they'd use fire as their tactic. But
Yeah, they just bought pillage and
yeah.
So you run headfirst into Dallas, and as you round the corner of the buildings leading into the main city square, directly across from you, where you know the storehouse and the orphanage are, up the opposite end of the town, you can see there is a mass of people amongst burning buildings on either side. Amongst them is a couple of carts, which you can see there's a couple of people pulling boxes from the storehouses and loading them onto the carts. Next to one of them, you can see there are a few what appear to be civilians restrained on their knees next to one of the carts. Amongst them is... Shit.
I thought you were just having an aneurysm.
No, I just realised I can't remember her name. Silsey, thank you.
This guy's a priest, let's just leave him.
You are free to go.
Amongst them restrained next to the cart is Silsey. As you look around, you can see that there are a couple of bodies spread across the town yard as well.
Can you see any branding on the cart or anything?
Not from here, no. I will get you a visual representation if you want to clear the board.
Quickly.
1. Got 3 seconds.
Can you move forward a little
You
bit?
reckon that bulge is a little bit too big, Tim?
Oh, my.
Sorry, that bulge is a little bit too big.
My bulge.
That bulge.
Yeah, Johnny's bulge.
My bulge.
Yeah.
A bit too big.
What about it?
Oh shit.
It's Daxter. Let's
We
kill
have to
him.
fight Daxter.
Oh no!
I need to print out some more minis. I've been a little bit slack with minis. So you guys are basically coming in along here.
Which one do you want, Scott? The flail one or the shield one?
The shieldy boy.
I was a shieldy boy.
I might
She
take
was the
this
shield
camera
again.
and I might try and find a better angle for it.
I don't know what to say next.
Yeah. Sorry about the jerky camera.
I want to get good at painting.
Jerky camera.
Huh?
Why?
So I can have cool miniatures.
So that you can not do anything.
You want to be good at painting, but you don't want to start painting.
Because you'll realise how
I
time
haven't got any
consuming it
paint
is.
or paintbrushes or anything.
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, it's not expensive, it's just time
My
consuming.
birthday's coming up.
Okay, I'll buy you paint. I'll just buy you a bucket of paint. White paint.
Every character looks exactly the same. Why
would
does it
actually
be white, Scott?
Still paintbrushes from work. Like touch up paintbrushes.
You mean borrow without asking and not returning?
Yes.
Hmm.
Like I've done many times before.
Put this
At
over
least
here.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
At least you're not sending abusive. Oh, what's that? It's been so long! That was pretty funny. I was like, damn, too bad that's not the guy that Scott doesn't like, because it's like, hey, HR!
Okay, so as you head into the town, you see amongst the civilians and the familiar faces tied up, but you also recognise another one amongst them, the ranger who you had previously met at the house seems to be amongst them, which is this one for your reference.
That slot first.
Which one's Silsey?
The small one.
It's Finnan!
Oh, I didn't see.
He's so short, he's behind the cart.
Yeah.
Makes sense. We gave her a dagger and a lockpick. She's a rogue now.
About as useful.
I thought it was a
Finnan was pretty useful.
Silsey's alive.
It's because Nick's not playing.
So,
My heart. My soul. I can't take it.
as you've ran in, and these guys all did see, these guys aren't necessarily charging towards you. You do see they are sort of beginning to notice you, but they're still carrying carts out and meandering around the carts. As you approach, what would you like to do?
Attack.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to just dive straight in?
Fuck
Yeah.
Okay.
Focus that archer.
Can we like get a surprise, right?
Oh, I could use
Mainly
you.
What would
Could
you?
use my charisma.
I will say, as they're sort of like, you guys are basically, all this is open. So the way this town works is there are buildings down this side, and all of this is open. So they are sort of noticing you by the time you get to this point. But I'll say if you're doing something ranged or preparing something, you can do that beforehand. Otherwise, we're going to go to initiative.
Do the thing on my axe.
Okay.
Give me an extra D4.
Catch a guiding bolt.
Yeah, can I throw some hand axes?
Yeah. Yep.
Fuck yeah, let's
Fuck
go.
yeah, I'm just gonna go with a cheeky old Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Oh, or should I become a bear?
Can I be 300 feet away?
Actually, Johnny, can I change mine?
Yeah.
I'd become a bear.
I boost my attack. No, I want to be a bear.
Okay, so as you come running into this town through the smoke and the haze and the orange light of these buildings
If
burning,
we shoot the same person, then I'll hit. You can have a vengeance.
Harrison comes running in, releasing two
Yeah,
axes.
I'll shoot.
That guy next closest to the compass.
Closest ones.
12.
12 to hit.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite hit. As you're running in, you just go a little bit wide with
Pick
it.
one.
Next one was a 10. So
And we'll shoot
they
that
got
together.
missed.
I nearly said that one attack. Grenrick comes running in. As he's running, form shifting into a bear.
That's cocked.
That's cocked.
On one.
What are you guys doing?
Scott's using guidance bolt.
Yes. 21. To hit.
Which one?
Yeah, which one are you taking?
The one Tim pointed to.
Oh,
Okay.
The same guy. I threw 2 axes at and missed.
So Tim gets advantage. Come on, Tim. Don't fuck up your advantage.
oh, you do your damage first.
Aimed in on him.
3 threes.
He's the closest one.
And the 5.
Snake eyes.
3 threes.
What's your damage?
Find how it works.
14.
Snake's got a lot of eyes.
17.
17 points.
3 odd raven times 3.
Fucking no, snake.
This bright white light emits from Tordek
How much do you do?
17.
as it slams into this guy and almost illuminates him. Nice.
Oh!
What's the other one?
Fuck, that was lucky.
20.
That was
6.
so lucky.
It went
That
2.
literally
Roll
like,
back to the 20.
I have never seen a dice actually full turn.
Tim's like,
No, but it came back to my.
Yeah, roll your damage.
wait, didn't he crit?
A 6.
Double.
12.
Oh. Well, no,
What was that
D10.
for?
It's a 1, so I'll take the 12.
I don't know what you're doing, but I'm already annoyed.
No, I just doubled the roll and I rolled a 6. And Scott's like, no, I rolled 2d10. So I just rolled a d10 and got a 1. I was like, yeah, no.
What's your damage?
12.
12.
Minus 5.
You're just fucking like he is so shocked.
Surprise, motherfucker.
This guiding bolt, those white bolts, and
Yeah.
the purple beam. Just
Following through these axes, when you see him, what the fuck was just getting blasted by these two spells. This alerts all the rest of them who had not already noticed your presence, and everyone is going to roll initiative.
At least I got above good roll. 5 this
Good roll. Yeah, that's not bad.
Where's my red?
And I got above 10, which is also even better.
I don't want it,
yeah, I'll take that.
but I do not want that.
What did you roll?
No, I rolled a 9.
He's like, where's my red dice? So I threw it to him and it was a 1.
Yeah, that's what you got. I saw it.
Fuck off, you got a 7.
Okay, 15 to 20,
16.
or above. 16?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a shit.
Don't have Garth anymore. So
Wait, where's our
no,
whiteboard?
or 28 initiatives.
What a shame.
Can we start using our fucking
Feels
whiteboard
bad when
again?
Finn and had
Sure.
plus initiative.
Yeah, you can.
And Ogmark had advantage on it, and now I've got 0.
I won't stop you.
I need to do some new tags. I'll do
Dexterity
these in a minute though.
broken.
What'd you get, sorry?
16.
16.
Dex build.
Casuals.
You can't talk, dirty casual. You're dead to me.
Sure,
So
sorry,
you
I've
know
kind of
if you
forgotten
can
how I
tell
do the
if
whiteboard,
you can
but
tell
we'll
that
just
is
make it up
live.
as we go. Okay, so they're going to act on sure.
S stock is
Okay.
best stock.
10 to 15?
11.
12.
Yep.
S stock is best stock.
Don't go 9.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
what is it? The hack?
Fuck
the
off.
glitch where
No,
you
just the
replace
best.
damage
Just
for
the
like
fact that
critical
the
or
best
something.
initiative
And
edition
it's
is
like
plus
attacks
2
me
with a plus 1.
and just kill shit.
Oh, that's
Okay,
Richard's right there.
so
Oh, okay.
at the beginning of initiative, these guys who are out and about notice you, and you see the ranger who you get the sense as a few of them sort of look to her almost as if she may be in command here,
You got no.
and she points back and says, "That's them! Deal with them!" And these three start heading out your way. So he's going to go find it.
Shit, they must have rolled well.
At least 10's in the front line, which is pretty good.
Yeah, because I can see.
And you can see the three
Use your movement to move backwards.
the three towards the back who are carrying crates and keeping an eye out all bring out these crossbows and begin to knock them, draw them, cock them.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was getting there eventually.
He said cock.
Well done, Harrison. You're up.
Cool, I'm gonna walk up to this guy.
Yep.
Walk.
Yeah.
I am coming for you.
Slowly but
Can
confidently.
you walk 15 feet in like 6 seconds?
And I'm gonna swing at him with the sword first.
Sure.
If you can
That is a 24 to hit.
That does hit.
And the sword.
This is the dude that's already fucked up.
Yeah, you're probably gonna chaos.
That's 6 damage.
Yep.
Not them.
And
Because of the
then
attacks.
there's
gonna
no
miss with the second one.
14.
14 to hit is not enough.
Damn.
So it's 15.
Of course it's out, yes.
Tordek.
Mighty yes,
If you can hit guidance bolt on the main ranger chick, I can use witch bolt on her and try and make that.
It's his turn, not yours.
Strategize.
You're not standing in there while there's people running at you going, Tordek, if you hit them with that spell again, I believe I could actually have a better chance of hitting them.
You on aim?
Spiritual weapon. I can cast it 60 feet.
I still haven't printed you a spiritual weapon. I
It's
will
right here.
remember to do that.
Boogada. That was pretty good.
I completely lost count. What? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I can spot the fucking right there, boys.
Yep.
Bang.
Cool. I'm just going to put
Nani.
I'm going to I'm just going to put a ring on this so it stands out a little bit more as a spiritual weapon rather than just you, because I all the time. Sure.
So yeah, cast spiritual weapon as a bonus attack.
Yep.
Bonus action,
Yeah.
and then I'll cast guiding bolt as my action.
Yep.
Yeah, good job.
Almost a 20. So it's a 2. That's
22.
7 to hit,
No, unfortunately, it's not enough.
Bum, bum.
and then I'll attack with my spiritual weapon.
It's gonna be another one of these weeks.
Wait, I don't think we've had a fight where it's actually been consistent hitting. It's just been a fuck fest.
The last 2 fights have been a mess.
19 to hit with spiritual weapon.
Yeah, is enough.
D8, I'm too sure. Well, yeah, 1d8. Uh, 9 points of damage.
Yeah, I've got Beyonce stuff.
Yep.
Same. It's just falling over.
And I'll move in front of the old lady.
Okay, Agatha. Speaking of which, it is your turn.
I'm gonna.
She could just like rest her hand on my head and then shoot.
Yeah.
Use him as like a shield. You're like,
Do I actually get cover behind Scott?
Could it work like that? We'll just armor the fuck out of you.
I'm just gonna shoot.
I'll just have 2 shields.
2 great shields.
what are you doing?
Wording 2 great shields. I'm just gonna shoot the almost dead boy.
Sure. Agatha the KS.
What are the 2 and 4?
24.
Yeah, that's enough.
Because Agatha gets bonus when she kills people. It makes sense.
10 hit points.
You probably need it too.
Yeah, so I could be up the front.
Play Great Axe.
Well, I don't think it's dead.
What'd you roll?
1.
Okay.
Is he dead?
No.
Yeah, you did it. Good job.
Okay, is that you?
Yes.
Granrick.
Green rock. You should just leave his like miniature green.
Yeah.
Some called Green Rock.
Yeah.
I run in and attack the damaged one.
Now, that just doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Why?
He smells blood.
If we just all aim for, like, if we focus
Focus
on one.
fire.
Focus fire all of them. It'll only take 3 turns to kill each one.
That's an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that's enough.
We hate this guy in particular.
Yeah.
Fuck this particular bad guy.
And then we run away. And then we long rest. And then we come back.
Fuck, that's solid.
Wait for the enemies to reset.
Damage?
14 damage.
14 points. Okay.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Cool.
He's actually there.
What the fuck?
They got some health.
Does this dude got like 60 health?
Yeah, well, we didn't like try and like, oh, what's going on here? There's like, let's kill him.
It's almost like, you know, maybe the people who are out in the woods stacking crates aren't necessarily the same people who are coming to a town to burn it to the ground.
Makes sense.
Okay, on their turn, this guy's going
She
to
did
move
say
over
that's
to attack
them,
you.
Yeah, and Celsius tied up and
Head over there. Well, yeah, she's the same. Okay, so we've got an attack coming at Grenrick, Harrison, and Tordek. Harrison,
you're welcome.
that's a miss. Tordek, that's a miss. And who was the other one at?
Me.
That's
He's got a
a
big boy arm class, though.
16, which isn't enough.
That is not enough.
So you manage, these 3 swordsmen come in and start swinging wildly. You all manage to fend them off pretty well.
Because I'm pretty fucking scary.
3 crossbow bolts are going to come in. 1 at Tordek, 1 at Granrick, probably 2 at Granrick.
Who
1 at
knows?
Tordek
Scary bear.
Good old Green Rock.
is a 17.
16 on us. I think.
That's a miss.
You gotta roll lower than that. It's
That's 9 points of piercing.
Cult of Cthulhu.
The 2 at
9.
Granrick. Yep.
I think you misspoke there.
Um,
I'm sorry.
one of them flies off wide. The other flies across and thuds into this guy.
Well, that's a 1.
Little bit of friendly fire.
Did you say fire?
That's
Yes, he
I
did.
rolled max damage on that as well. Just you putting that out there. Finally,
Yes, Agatha, you can burn things.
the ranger that you recognise with a bow, she's going to cast a familiar spell on herself, and you watch as her skin turns dark. And then she's going to step back a little bit
She was all from last.
behind this cart and fire one at probably Tordek. Sorry, Granrick even. That's a miss as well. So, good. All in all, we're back to last week where I just missed
He's a
everything.
massive bear. They can't fucking hit him.
I rolled a 3, 2 2s, and 2 1s that round.
I missed the old Johnny.
So do I. Don't worry, I'm going to be trying. So, at the top of the round,
Try and
Harrison.
roll harder.
I'm gonna.
He's just
attack
gonna
this
double his
guy.
rolls from now.
15 to hit.
Double zero, still 0.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah.
Big off.
9 damage.
On that guy.
Yeah, the damaged one.
I still like
Yep.
that thing.
Still
it's
up.
Like, I'll fuck 20
Second
more
attack.
skills and use like the boss like
For
0
20 to
times
hit.
and he's still
Yep.
0, buddy.
That's 6 damage.
So good.
I thought that was an 8. What the fuck?
So you get a slash him with your axe, bring your pick around, and sink it straight into his collarbone, where his eyes just go wide before he slumps to the ground next to you.
Oof, 1 down.
1 dead
Tordek. Unless you wanted to do anything else.
D-bag.
You might. Did you want to move at all, or?
Oh, actually, yeah, good point.
I'll
Get
take
behind that
them
guy.
Am I gonna roll good first or the second time too?
Spaghetti.
Look, the way we're going, neither.
Should I use my spiritual weapon or should I attack the dude first?
Spiritual weapon.
Fuck, flip a coin.
Yeah, spiritual weapon.
You do realize she cast Barks again.
12.
That's not enough.
And then I'll attack the dude in front of us.
Scott?
They were some rolls.
And it's a miss.
Do we need a new table or something? Is this table cursed? What's happening? I don't understand.
What's your roll, Scott?
A 4.
Plus
Who
like
fucking-
3, right?
Who put a hex on
No,
the
plus
table?
something, right?
I blame you. You're the one that uses magic the most.
Okay, sorry.
It's a cursed campaign. What can I say?
That's you.
Right,
There, are you done?
Yep.
Agatha.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Witch Bolt.
Yep.
Not Witch Bolt, sorry.
Shit's bolt.
No, I don't trust this. Eldritch Blast. Let's do it.
On who?
The guy in front of me.
That was a good call by you. It was a really good call by you.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Another roll under 5. Terrific. What else would you like to do?
Yeah, nothing. No, because I could fucking take him off duty.
Okay. Tordek. Not Tordek. Grenrick, sorry.
Can I use a bonus action before I attack?
Yeah, you can use any of your actions in any order you see fit.
Alright, I'm gonna put a curse on that dude.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a curse.
What curse are you putting on him?
Damn.
On this guy?
Yeah. The one that, like, if he attacks me.
Mutual suffering.
Yeah.
He takes half as much damage.
Yep.
Cool. Good to know. I find it weird that he doesn't get a save against that. But anyway.
I don't think I hit with a 9.
No, unfortunately you did not.
It's gonna be hard now.
I just want 2 attacks again.
I just want 4 attacks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, well that tries
This
to
was so
load.
much easier with one more than one attack.
Is that you?
Yes.
Where's she
yes,
gonna
it
be
is.
with you?
Okay. Right, on their turn then. The one at the back's going to go for Agatha, recognising that she is a spellcaster.
No, she's not.
Half cover.
That's an 11.
But I'm gonna take damage if I get so.
Just
14.
Just stealthily
Yeah.
uses you to shoot off.
But fuck him. Gonna use Hellish Rebuke as my reaction.
Okay, so you still take the damage.
No,
Probably should have saved it until Bark Beach hit you.
Which is 6 points of slashing.
Guess what he's gonna call?
Fire.
6 points of fire.
I hope it's more.
So do I.
9.
Whoa, why are we so shit?
So 9 points on this
Wait,
guy.
was that
Sure.
3d10?
Fuck off.
Cool. This guy's gonna slash out at Granrick. Wow! Why? Jeez! I don't understand anymore!
Let's just like
I can't believe I just watched you yell at the dogs.
It's actually a dialogue.
That bitch is going in the ocean.
Hey, can I use it?
What, you want to roll under 4 on every
I
roll?
didn't look.
That's higher than what he's already running.
Okay, the crossbows, we're going to have 1 at Harrison, 1 at Granrick, and 1 at Tordek. Tordek is a 14.
16.
Granrick is a 15.
Nope.
16.
Harrison is a 18.
Yeah, that was it's big wolf.
The only one that got hit. Sucked in.
I can also heal myself.
It's okay, that's 4 points of damage because I rolled minimum damage.
Do you want to give us those dice as well? You'll be left with none at the end of the night.
I am seriously, there's 3 sessions in a row that my rolls have been trashed.
It's not
Maybe
just you though.
Yeah, we roll shit.
Maybe should have bought dice worth more than 100 rolls.
Oh, because you two do so much better.
Yours is going real
3 out of 4
well.
attacks.
Scott's is going so good though.
They're you know, right now.
Outdated, debated.
That's kind of.
Okay.
Defenestrated.
The biggest word you know. Look.
What's the biggest word?
No, it's that anti-disestablishmentarianism.
You screwed it up.
Yeah, but I can't talk regardless.
Okay.
Mississippi.
Sorry, I forgot what I'm doing.
Why?
Cool.
Rocks and shit?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, rocks is
So I had a
a
bit of a
five-letter word.
whinge. I had a bit of a whinge about my die and then rolled a crit. So perfect.
Nice.
So that's a whole 6 points of damage on my crit.
To who?
To you.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no, it's halved.
Resistance?
Yeah, cool. So 3 points on a nat 20.
And then, was it the sword dude?
No.
This is a pretty big word.
No, it was her. Actually, yeah.
What I meant, you fuckhead.
I'm done. How do I plan encounters when I can't hit any of them? Like, okay.
Just like write numbers on a piece of paper, put them in a hat, and draw them out.
Harrison.
I'm going to attack the dude in front of me.
Sure.
That is a 21 to hit.
Yep.
8 damage.
I can never tell what the numbers are.
Second attack is a 1.
I thought that was a fucking 8 when you rolled.
It was a 5.
That's an 8!
Okay, Tordek.
No, that's an 8.
Agatha, you're up next.
Yep.
It's very sort of directional.
I'll take the guy in front
All
of
of
us
them
first
are
this
8s.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
All
just
eight.
12.
There's the 6.
12 is not enough, sorry.
Literally only the 4, 1, and 7
And
don't look like an 8. They all look like each other.
Spiritual weapon on Bugs and Bitch.
Yep.
What would you roll?
What is happening, Agatha?
1.
I rolled 11, the first one. What other hit her with the 16?
Hit her.
Yeah.
Surely not.
I don't think so.
Yes.
Fuck.
Oh.
Should have reversed it back.
What's poison spray do?
Spray
I love the way when it was his turn, I'm like,
So,
Agatha, you're up next, and you're like,
close
yep,
range.
like as if you're ready, and then it comes to
Yeah.
your turn, and you're like, what does
Off
this
this.
spell do?
Alright, cast a poison spray.
Nice.
That
Please don't get me.
seems like a terrible idea.
Good spell.
No, well, I don't have advantage
So-
against poison types anyway.
Oh,
Oh,
that's,
I'll spray it that way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you could angle it so that it doesn't hit him.
So, 1d12. Ooh! And he gets a con save.
Okay. What do you think I roll?
A 1.
No, a 2.
Wow. It takes 12 points of damage.
That one's going on the shelf.
It's the highest damaging cantrip.
12 points.
Yeah.
On that guy.
Right up in the grill. Alright, did I get it in his eyes?
Yeah, so this burst of green mist emits from
Oh, I didn't say it come from my hands.
Agatha. Why?
Because I'm an old lady.
I was going to describe it, I've lost interest now. Renrick.
I just attacked this dude.
Yeah, go for it.
Just lost interest.
Shouldn't have had beans.
That's a hit.
yeah,
Nicely done.
that is a hit.
Yep.
Did you hit him with your bare hands?
No, I didn't. I hit him with my sword.
He doesn't get the job.
No, I do. For fuck's sakes.
I'm burning. Everything we have, I'm just burning. I'm done.
Hey, I rolled a 12.
That's 8 damage.
8 points. Yep.
I did the goods. And if you saved, you didn't take any damage.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, on their turn.
Cantrips are fun.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful one, though.
Where's my next
Doesn't
D20?
In Agatha's
This guy's going to
class.
attack you. The one at the back is going to attack Agatha
Lost.
again. So at
Then you
Agatha,
can add your spell mod to the
that's
damage.
super cocked.
There is a.
That's a
thing you can
12
do
natural,
that
so
is,
14.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, he gets hit.
Not listening. It's good.
What am I doing?
Take
Getting
damage.
hit.
Taking 4 points of slashing.
What to say?
Even when I do hit, I roll minimum damage, so it doesn't really matter. This guy's attacking
3
you,
points from a crit.
Krenric. That's a 19.
That's a hit.
Yay! Can I roll something decent on damage?
Yeah.
That's a 1! Fuck!
Hey, this is a PG, right?
What happens if it gets halved?
That's 2 points of damage.
Is that halved?
Yes.
Oh, so I get 1.
Wait,
No, that's 2 points of damage.
Because
Oh,
he rolled a 1, but he has a +3. And
Oh,
he takes
damage.
2 as well.
yeah, he takes 2 damage as well.
Yeah, cool.
It kills him.
Cool.
I don't know how the fuck that works.
I'm like legitimately slightly tilted at these dice, which is hilarious.
Do you want a good one?
I mean, I'm gonna need them by the end of the
Hey,
day, so
no,
yeah,
you
just
don't
keep
worry.
giving them to me. It's fine. The crossbows,
You want
one
me
at
to wait
Granrick,
until
one at
one?
Harrison, one at
What?
Come on, let's wait until
maybe 2 at Harrison.
Johnny does so.
Granrick. That's a 20 with your dice.
That's not my dice, that's his dice.
It's with the dice you gave me.
I get
Um,
Sorry.
You piece of shit.
That's so 4 points of damage.
You still can't roll damage though, so it doesn't matter.
No, he did roll
This bear
damage.
form seems so OP.
just
Harrison,
take
you got
half.
2 coming at you.
Oh, I'm fucked.
That's
Wait,
a 19
I'm fucked when they have a silver weapon.
and
though.
a 10.
Okay, so
What are
what?
you meant to do? Concentration
One hit,
checks
yeah.
at some point?
I do now.
That's a 7 points.
That's damage.
Can I have my blue dice back?
Just give us some more.
Yeah, give me.
The
Dice of
ranger
power.
misses. Cool.
The cheapest ones were all the best.
At this point, let's make sure.
Fuck, I'll just download a free dice roller from the App Store then.
Somebody should just run in and grab Celsius like it.
Wonder if she can like jump on my mace and just ride it as a broomstick.
She's gonna move over.
Spiritual weapon.
Oh. Or get it to swoop down and pick her up.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. Does it have physical form to it though?
I don't know.
I mean, I assume it does because you're hitting people with it, right?
Yeah,
Unless
but does
it
it
does,
only
like, radiant
temporarily?
Okay.
No, it's
like phases in and out.
That's gonna be their turn. So Harrison.
I'm not.
I'm
I thought
gonna
that was a grey dude.
attack.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Did you roll your Constitution
I haven't yet.
That is a.
or Concentration, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Do I get flanking advantage on this guy?
Yeah.
Because he's.
Yeah.
Because you rolled shit in the first one.
Yeah. I rolled shit on that one too. 16.
Is enough.
Well, not shit enough.
Well,
7 damage.
Yep.
Second attack.
Ooh,
Is
nice.
At 19,
I
Yep.
passed. I'm in control.
which is 10 damage.
Look at me. I am in control. I am the DM now.
I'm the captain.
Yep.
I am the bear. I am Sir Barrington.
Iron Bear.
I am there.
I got spiritual weapon first.
Is that a 3?
God.
That's a 6.
Double 3. Okay. Oh.
Maybe it's time to start using a different dice.
Wait, is it flanking?
Agatha, you're up now.
Or is it behind?
Work out what you're doing.
Yeah, I know.
Does it count as
No,
flanking?
flanking you have to
Yeah,
have
no.
2 people.
Yeah.
Is it backstab?
A rogue with spiritual weapon backstab. Ooh.
That'd be cool.
What armor is that guy wearing?
The one of the swordsmen.
Yeah,
Oh, the guy out. They're wearing it looks like scale at least.
I can't say crit flame on.
Okay.
So it's a dex saving throw.
It's a natural 11. Says 12.
Yes, boys.
13.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 1d8 damage. That's a 3.
3 points.
Not bad.
That literally just fucking landed and just stopped.
It's not hitting.
Okay. Agatha, unless you want to do anything else
No, it's
Eldritch Blast.
on this guy. Yep.
radiant damage.
Did you are you actually
missed.
rolling something? Right. Okay.
I
Thank
got
you.
10.
Are you doing anything else?
Crying.
Okay. Grandick. These fights go on way too long with us all missing without
Yeah, true.
people taking way too long in their turn as well.
I'm gonna just attack this dude.
I gotta roll, like, at least 10 to hit.
That's 15.
Yeah, is enough.
Cool.
Not bad. Could be worse.
12 damage.
On this guy, yep. Wow, they're both at
That's all I can do.
Both at what?
they were just both at the same health value, coincidentally.
So-
Okay,
We're pretty much at par.
so the swords. Let's do the swordsman first, as one's going to attack Grenrick, That's a miss. The other one's going to attack Agatha. That's a 11.
I'm 11.
Jeez, you have a low armor class.
Yeah, that's why I should be in front.
You should get a spell that gives you
I'll
a
just-
shield.
That's 9 points.
Did you say 9?
Yeah.
Well, I'm down.
What the
Oh, yeah,
fuck?
spells
Are you
cool.
seriously?
Yeah, I wonder.
Armor class.
That kind of breaks the plan then, doesn't it?
What the fuck? Why are you... How are you so shit?
Because he's got low health and low AC.
He's a spellcaster.
Yeah.
It's a front line.
Yeah. Maybe I should be put up front more often.
Maybe you should have shield.
Right.
Yeah, but that's going to take up all my slots anyway. Spellcasting.
Don't shoot a faith.
Bit late now.
So this swordsman swings across, slicing across Agatha's side, and she falls to the ground. You hear an audible call from the ranger up this end saying, "Never mind, focus on the bear." It seems like they were all planning to attack Agatha. You have 4 attacks coming your way.
Holy fuck.
I'm gonna bet touch an old lady.
That's
You gonna what?
Touch an old lady.
2 hits.
That's not bad.
And the ranger misses. So that's...
That's correct. A lot of things.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I reckon you can do death saving throws and you'll be fine.
That's 6 points of damage.
Do you have healing word?
As it rounds up.
At least you can attack with the mace as a bonus action, I guess.
Might be a bit of
Okay. That's their turn.
Why do these fights seem
Me
harder
now?
than like even the Tomb of Annihilation?
Because you're lower level than you were in the Tomb of Annihilation?
We killed Azaract.
Did you though?
We dealt with us.
That's all I might have now.
Yeah, sorry. Yep.
Cool.
The lava killed us. Because I pushed it.
12.
Yeah, not enough, sorry.
Even though Johnny forgot he had a legendary
24.
save.
24. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a legendary save.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah,
He had
3.
one more, and you did use it to save the grapple.
7 damage.
ooh, I did not pass.
Actually, do I still get the flank?
Sorry?
Am I still getting the flank advantage? That's not just
Yes, yeah.
Let me just reroll for the first one. 15.
Is enough, yeah.
Okay.
Because he used the first one.
That's another 11
Second one of
damage.
my thunder.
So 18 total. that round.
Guys, please. Jesus fuck. What?
18 total damage that round to it.
18, right. Cool.
Still not good.
I will tell you when they're dead.
It's probably,
Jeez.
it's probably a good thing that he's not dead, to be honest.
Okay.
No.
Fuck. I am going to murder someone. Tordek.
How good do you reckon my D8 skills are, too?
Piss poor. What are you doing?
What are you doing? That's a 6.
You healed the wrong person.
I was going to throw it all the way across the table, and I got not.
Plus.
3.
Back up to 9.
Okay, so Tordek turns around, realizing
Spiritual
Agatha's down.
Yeah.
I'm in love!
Please.
Nah, you'd be able to balance die on that.
Not now. Oh.
Couple.
What is it? Sure, it's fine. I can't even see it. It's
19
fine. Right. Okay.
plus 5.
Yep.
Where's my D10? D8.
Is it? Yeah.
You're lucky I didn't use the second roll. 4 points of damage.
4 points. Okay.
We're not great.
What if I was like
We're
healing?
not even good.
Agatha,
I use my bonus action to get back up.
use half your movement to get back up.
Zombified.
What the fuck?
And then I'm going to cast Scorching Ray at this guy.
Okay. So 3 beams. Are you sending all 3 beams at him?
Yep, that's a 9.
Okay.
That's a 9. That's a 9.
God damn it! Nice.
Amazing. Agatha stumbles back to her feet. Do, and these 3 beams of orange light just just like Hollywood, just spotlights going off into the distance.
Does he feel like houses?
Yeah, so set the other buildings on fire.
No, luckily, like they're going up, just skimming across the top of one of the buildings. But
Can't be
amazing.
Vegeta.
Cool. After that light and sound show,
I'm
Granrick.
gonna turn Super Saiyan. I have to attack this dude in front of me.
Okay.
You don't have a choice. You miss.
Can I have the blue die?
Blue die is one of the few things that I'm actually hitting with. So, okay.
Well, I'm not hitting with the white one.
So that's your turn because you're out of control. You're out of control, boy. Okay.
That's a hooper stinks.
Swordsman's going to attack you. That misses.
Oops, no for ages.
Agatha, you're going to get attacked again.
No,
as
I'm not.
these beams fly by, and this guy's like, "Stay down," and swings again.
I'll just fill you back up again.
Yeah, that's a hit.
So you got 9 health. You can do less.
Give him
That's
the blue die back.
4 points of damage.
The boat's gonna die.
The crossbows are all going to fire at you again.
Demon. Awesome.
Bear boy. Where's my last? Oh, yeah, all right. You know what? Who's back in?
Nat 20.
You subbed back in, boys.
So that's 2 hits and a 14, which doesn't hit. So 2 hits.
How's your health open?
Half.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's 9 points of damage.
Less than half.
Taking half damage is just nuts.
Especially level 3.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that I can use it twice a day and it comes back on a short rest.
We should have all been blood armors.
Oh, wait, he's got nothing else useful.
I really don't.
Oh.
Well, you're attacking the closest thing.
I am not in control.
Okay. Cool, that's their turn.
Yeah, even less in control.
That's a big no.
Does that mean you have to make 2 saves?
Cool. Harrison,
Damn. 16.
how many
If you
turns?
fail-
Sorry, you're what? Sorry?
16 hit.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just working something out.
I need to get more spells with no
7
attack
damage.
rolls.
Yep.
Is that a 4 or what?
And it was 1. It was a 4 that I rolled.
7 damage, was it?
Yeah.
Ones everywhere. You get a 1.
And then I missed the second attack, so.
Okay. Plunging him with this axe, he sort of half falls to the ground, but still
Actually-
managing to stay on his feet.
Advantage for flanking, right? 20.
Okay, he's dead.
Terrible move. Terrible move.
Now you have no enemies to save you from the bear.
Tordek.
And I'm literally in the least control.
No, he's gonna come from me.
It's gonna go for Todd.
Okay.
Last time Johnny rolled.
Tordek, you are up.
Which one I went for?
Yeah, that's because you had 2 people you couldn't guess.
I'm just gonna shoot a guiding bolt at the leader.
Yep.
16.
There's not enough, unfortunately.
I thought you said it was earlier.
Yeah.
She's got
What?
Earlier
half
it
cover
was.
from the card.
The leader, that one. Is
Half
that the leader?
cover from the person in front of her.
You've just moved civilian.
Who gives a fuck? We're not there to save the civilians.
Someone just run in and grab. Why did you move? You should just run in and grab Celsius and bang.
Okay. Spiritual weapon.
Yeah,
Yep.
she gets attacked. Not opportunity attack.
That's cool.
From where?
That's a lot.
15.
happen.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
not 15. 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are still attacking the leader, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Can you print me some new dice, Johnny?
Wait.
8 damage.
Here you go. Here's one
yep.
you can use.
No.
Why not?
Okay. Anything else
What
you want
about
to
this
do?
one?
Nope.
Yeah.
It was too heavy for me to tell what I
Okay,
was weighted.
Agatha.
Yeah, I'll use that one.
Witch bolt. Not witch bolt, sorry. Eldritch blast.
Yep.
Come on.
This guy?
Yep.
Yep.
So I don't get flanking.
I say sorry in
Do I get
advance.
flanking?
No, not with
But you're not facing us.
Plus, he's focused on you anyway, so.
If you're facing that
Yay,
way.
22.
The closest thing.
This dice.
It's still
Because
used.
the blue one
Unless it's the
seems
closest
to
in
well.
his vision.
Yeah, it's the closest thing in your vision.
Quick, read the specifics.
Your
3
vision.
points of damage.
You must use the attack action on the nearest creature.
Is there a squirrel, man?
For my bonus action, I'm going to disengage.
You can't. That's not a thing. That's
No.
a rogue thing.
You have to use your action to disengage if you're not.
Well, not enough.
Cool. On Granrik's turn, enraged, he's going to roar over and attack Tordek.
I'm sorry.
You're not.
No! What a time to hit.
For fuck's sakes.
You're dying, boy.
Can't wait till I roll a crit.
He's going to roll max damage.
Wow,
Decent.
it's above average.
Oh. Why do we bring Lucky along?
That's 13 damage.
It's probably more damage than I've done in a single turn, really.
Not bad.
That's the most damage I've done this fight.
Death by
Um,
snoo. Do you get another concentration?
No, it goes away as soon as I attack something.
Unless you
And
take
then I
damage
get,
again.
yeah, and then I get hit.
In which case.
I'm gonna fucking hit you again.
Agatha, you got a sword boy coming at you.
You're
That's a
gonna
hit.
hit me.
You just fucking hit me, you little
Why the
prick.
fuck are you gonna hit me?
That's
What'd you
7
hit me
points.
I'm down again.
Right, Agatha's down again.
We're all about to go down. You can't be doing too well in health.
You can
after
see
that, can
this
you?
swordsman swings over, slicing at Agatha again. She falls to the ground
I'm asking you.
in a wail of pain. You can
I
see
still
he
got
sort of
4
comes
heals.
over and almost stands on her chest and looks like he's gonna finish the job.
Good.
Come on, bear boy.
The
Can't
crossbows,
do much when I'm, when I'm fucking losing my shit.
with you exposing your back and moving in, the
I'll
archers
have a
will
roll of
fire
fucking
again.
hit with a scorching ray.
That's a miss. Wow, all of them miss. Then the ranger. Wow! A volley of arrows just over the top of your heads.
Hey, you're in control.
Fuck.
Did you roll concentration?
Hey,
No,
you
I
get
didn't
hit.
get hit.
Oh.
They didn't hit anyone.
So now you're good again.
I was never bad.
You're meant to be back because I'm gonna be bash that shit out of you.
What the fuck would you attack?
Going bolt, bang!
Oh, no! Silver sword!
If I could use that radiant weapon, just rip it out. Just
Shit, they're
cut
taking the
bear's
hostages.
head off.
They taking Celsi.
Mm-hmm.
Does your weapon get attacks of opportunity?
Nah,
No.
it's just like a magic entity.
Oh, they're just retreating into the way.
Is that actually Daxter? Like,
Yeah, he's there.
could we really need help?
Where's that fucking unicorn when you need it? To bring us all back to full health.
That's their turn. Harrison.
CPR.
Do I get flank advantage on this guy?
No, because who's
he's-
that?
he's not
Tordek,
attacked,
yes.
yeah.
Well, yeah, no,
He
you
just
still would because he's
Cool.
opposite. Yeah.
Nat 20.
Nat
Nat 20. Didn't need the advantage yet.
Which one's this?
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's that guy. Cool.
Fair
Cool.
bit
Cool.
of
Cool.
it.
Cool. Cool.
9 damage.
Yep.
Second attack. Now. Nat 20.
God damn it.
Just
Yeah.
don't roll another 3. Oh,
13 damage.
Okay, so
Maybe we do need 150.
seeing this guy step over Agatha's corpse and ready to plunge down, you swing up and take his arm off, and he falls to the ground.
Yay!
Wailing in pain. Tordek.
cast second level healing on Agatha.
Okay.
I need it.
Back from the dead.
So do I.
Yeah,
I'm still above half.
I'm below a third.
I still have 4 heals left.
I'm lower third.
Skill! No, it was 11.
Yay.
A 6 and a 2.
So you regain consciousness for the second time this fight, feeling a surge of life energy back through you.
And then spiritual weapon on. Fuck this bitch. She gonna go on.
Yep.
Crack her head into the wall. That's a hit.
21.
You rolled a 9 and a 10.
Max
plus
damage.
Damage.
Nice.
11 plus his damage.
11.
Yep.
Okay.
Smite deep.
Chipping alright.
Chipping.
Cool. That's your turn then.
Yup.
Agatha.
Huh?
Can you move?
Oh yeah, if you want to move, of course.
I don't wanna. Wait, did you get hit?
No.
Do I know that if you get...
Well, we don't know why he attacked you. We just know that he attacked
Yeah, I'm moving away from this crazy
Yeah.
bear. Like,
I'm the wild card.
Sure.
stay away from me, bear.
Oh, I'm gonna have to count some squares.
Yep. Where do you want to go?
I'm not moving.
You're trying to hit her, see if she's... Should be...
How far away is she?
Should be within range, because you've got like 300 foot,
30,
right?
35,
You-
40,
you
45,
remember you have
50,
to deal with
55,
our
60, 65, 70, 75.
And she's
Has she got
fucking-
any cover? Would you call it half cover?
Well, she's dragging a person with her at the moment.
As
so
well
yeah,
as
she
she's
would have.
got the fucking box.
She's also got a dude in front of her.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Imagine if,
Oh, no,
Oh,
like the
and-
person dragging and the person...
imagine if you had a fireball too.
Oh, I fucking can't wait for Fireball.
Even though Salsy's there.
Yeah, fuck it.
She's immune to fire, don't worry.
Yeah, I'll just shoot.
This guy?
Second archer.
Okay.
Eldritch Blast. Come in. No, the white one. Fuck the white one. 16.
To hit, yeah, that's enough.
8.
3. Okay, so
3.
it's that guy.
How do I play this? I don't know what to do.
Okay, so your turn. Do you want to move?
Yeah, nice.
Away from the crazy bear.
Okay,
Can you move more?
Granrick.
No, because I had to use half my movement to stand up.
Again.
Again.
So you could have got a better angle on it, but...
I yell at everyone saying, when I get hit, don't come near me.
Bear mode activated.
And then you sprint in to fight that guy, right?
Yeah, can I get there?
Over to here? Yeah.
30 if he's moving purely diagonal would be there, I believe, right?
What?
You can
That's
move diagonal.
5,
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, easy.
Oh, don't you do that?
You can move diagonally. You don't
It's
have to
not
move.
like Pokemon.
No, but isn't it the thing where the first diagonal's 5 and then the second diagonal's 10? So it's like 5, 15, 20, 30.
It's just
That's
diagonal.
fucking what? For like one of the smartest people I know, you say some dumb shit.
5 foot this way, 5 foot this way, diagonal is about 7.5. So 2 squares would be about the same as moving 15 foot instead of moving 5, moving diagonal.
Okay, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna attack this dude.
Yep. Cool.
Does make sense, but like...
Yeah. It's one of the optional rules.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you didn't roll 3 from in a row.
Okay. So, at the end of your turn, you hear what you assume to be voices and the clanging of gear, what sounds like equipment, people running. Agatha, as you're sort of closest to it, you turn to your left to see a group of people running in from this side,
Oh, friends!
of which
Or
you
enemies.
don't recognize. You do recognize on their shields they seem to be bearing what appears to be a large white tower with golden stars painted over the top of it. And because I had a mini for this and I had no idea where it is, so I'm just going to use the old element attack one.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Oh, what a legend.
Coming in behind.
It's element attack.
Element attack always comes in behind.
So they get into about there, and you can see what you would assume to be the commander of this small force, as he has sort of more decoration than the others, all in matching uniform. And he sort of leads them in and says,
No.
"Subdue them, save who we can." And they make their approach. On their turn, they're going to retreat back into here, out of sight. They're going to retreat in, out of sight. These guys, 5, 10, 20, in makes it in.
Can you make double movement with a
Yep.
prisma?
Do I get attack of opportunity?
Yeah, you will.
Against the civilian.
So he'll make it to about here.
He makes it to the spiritual weapon.
I think I actually hit.
Yep.
15.
Yeah, is enough.
They just see this big old ape shit.
For fuck's sakes.
Actually, you won't be able to.
Wait, couldn't you try and grapple him? What was that?
No, that was an opportunity.
8 damage.
8 damage. Cool.
Just tickle it, scratch his back for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
That actually, she has enough movement that she can
Matt
step back.
Plus a ship.
Who does she have line of sight to? Either Harrison or Agatha. She's probably going to target Agatha because she knows she's a spell.
Down for the next
Which
3rd time.
is a 7, so 10.
Miss. Yeah, it's the first attack I've been hit by.
So you look to your left and see these soldiers running in and then just...
It's just because their robe's too big, so it literally hits, but it still goes through.
That's their turn. Harrison.
What was I going to check? I have no idea what to do. I'm gonna run up to about there, make sure that the cart's covering the doorway for me,
Okay. Yep.
and then use a bonus action to heal.
Okay.
And advantage on next attack?
Tordek?
No. Because that's only advantage on the current attack. But I do have a second bonus action that also heals me.
I don't want to heal myself.
Yeah, fuck the bear.
Cool. I had taken 9
How
damage
many?
and I healed
Are you
for
like
11.
bloodied?
Me?
Yeah.
He's pretty cooked.
No, I'm pretty good. Definitely in the lower third.
So am I.
Yeah, thanks to some dickhead.
I'll tell who.
But then if you go down, then we've got nobody to heal
Dandelion,
us.
he takes half as much damage.
I've
as
only
you.
got one more heal left.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fuck the bear.
Because I'll cast 2 guiding bolts.
Nice.
What you doing, Tordek?
Your time's run out, you heal me. Nice.
11.
Poggers.
Thank you.
And then my spiritual weapon.
So you hit him and he heals you. Fuck you, I'm gonna start shooting you down.
Spiritual weapon.
Mine's
Yeah.
not on purpose.
Eldritch
It's
Bolt,
Scott.
Scott. Eldritch Bolt, Scott.
You're lucky I didn't heal you with that one.
Nice.
4 points of damage.
Cool.
That's twice that's happened.
That's you, Agatha.
How far am I away from that last person?
Him.
Yep.
About 70. Same as you were from the other person who was in that square.
Let's make it 80.
I am going to cast.
Eldritch Blast.
No.
Which bolt?
Old person.
Okay.
So.
Wisdom. So
Wisdom of 13.
Necessary.
that's a natural 8. So I don't think they pass.
Oof.
Wisdom it was?
Yeah, wisdom.
No, it's an 8.
Surely he doesn't have
Cool.
a
So.
You never know.
Yeah. Paralyzed.
Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Giggity. Paralyze is so good.
Fucking auto crit on melee attacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take that.
So what's the
Advantage on hit
parameters?
and
Can he
auto
escape
crit
next
when you
turn?
hit.
Or on his turn, or on
No,
your turn?
It's done until its duration's up.
What's the duration then?
1 minute.
Right, thank you.
He gets
Um,
a save at the end of his turn, I believe.
So choose a humanoid that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. It will be paralyzed for the duration. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make another wisdom save throw.
Hey,
Right.
but when you read all of the spells, it makes sense.
Grenrick.
Well, it's stuck now.
I'm gonna move behind the cart.
Behind.
healed you.
This
Charge.
this side? Or this side?
I
Or
just
this
paralyzed them. You get automatic crit.
Yeah, but I'm not the best person to take that.
It's anyone who hits him.
It doesn't. It's not once.
It's just up until his turn.
This is Grenrick's turn.
Just kill him.
He's paralyzed.
Yeah, which card?
Can I get to him?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to.
You can.
Yeah, but I go to this side of the door.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. 10,
So I'm
15,
not in like
20,
direct
25.
sight of
30.
their other archers.
And then
No, just attack.
Okay.
So advantage on your attack roll.
And you just have to hit.
Don't put that on.
You
Right,
actually
what's your plus? You have a plus. Even a plus 4 is not going to help.
does it say on your DM screen what paralyzed does?
Mm-hmm. I was just checking.
Go.
Can you not? You can't move out of the way.
What's the hit?
14.
Is just enough.
That would be the funniest.
Just a complete stationary person, and you're just like, just miss.
For fuck's sake!
I'm liking
That
this.
gets doubled,
Yeah, so it's
doesn't it?
14
Yeah,
damage.
14 damage.
I'm liking this drawing numbers out of a hat idea.
Okay.
Let's just do it on their phones and it's like random number generators.
No, like a bingo.
Is that you?
That's so cool.
Do I have any movement left?
No, that was
Yeah,
your
lots
full
of,
movement
like-
to get to there.
We need like
There's still have a
7 bingo
bonus
things.
action if you've got anything.
I'm bringing bingo next week.
On
D20s.
their turn.
That'd be so there's bingo. But you need
You're
like
about to get fucked up.
How many HP are you on?
Me?
Yeah.
11?
11. Are you actually?
I think so.
Funny things
I
are
just wanted to know
actually-
if I had to roll damage or not.
I do look like a demon.
So that's enough. So
Oh.
this first soldier runs in, slashes across the back of Agatha's leg, which drops her to the ground, and he immediately punches her with the hilt of his sword and knocks her unconscious.
At least she's not dead.
Oh,
You're
I just
just
got
unconscious.
my day fucked up.
We running, boys, we running.
You're not leaving me behind, you fucking dogs.
You don't know that because you're unconscious.
I just got ass blasted.
He's probably going to go that way. He's going to go probably the same.
Fuck's sake. Fucking mud.
So this commander, I should have pointed out, seems to be carrying a large crossbow. He walks up about 30 feet, moving quite quickly, stops, and fires off a volley of shots.
Jesus.
It's like the crossbow from Dark Souls. Has like multiple layers.
No.
The repeat instead of repeat.
So this is a Tor deck, by the way.
What?
Rest in peace.
Actually in the Matrix, boys.
Wait, just bend over. Because you got your back turned.
No, hit me.
It's 20 points.
Of missing.
And Scott's down.
Sorry, did I tell you what the roll for that was? What's your AC? I hope it did hit.
16.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Thousand.
I rolled a 17, so it's fine.
28.
I just panicked for a second. I was like, wait, did I hit?
You have to just roll 1 and then they all hit.
For this particular weapon, yes.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But then if you miss, then.
It's fine.
Is
So
it the-
yeah, that's 20 points.
I should have healed myself.
As you
And
take
I'd still be dead.
a volley of arrows. And that's their turn.
Do I see
These
that happens?
He has to roll for his paralysis.
Yes, sorry.
Actually, no, he doesn't because she's unconscious.
What?
Does it go away on?
I believe it's concentration, so it would, right?
Well, we don't know because Tim doesn't read his spells.
Does it go away?
Is hold person concentration?
So, other business to attend to. No, doesn't say anything about concentration.
Is he sure? It doesn't. It says visual, but
No, it's to cast it though.
Surely all spell effects.
Only if it's concentration. If it's on and then it's on, it's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say anything
don't
about
they
it.
take?
Yeah, no, it is.
Can't they move?
The little
like-
C next to the name means concentration. So he is
why
not
is that not
paralyzed.
I thought I wrote cut.
So can I attack with my spiritual weapon?
No.
Spiritual weapon.
I'm sorry.
That's not technically concentration, right? So that wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
I don't think you can use it though.
Grenrick, you're going to
Yeah,
take
takes
two
bonus action.
attacks.
But you also get an attack of opportunity, right?
One of them hits, one of them There's no friendlies to hit, so
Does he get the attack of opportunity on the guy that?
with a spiritual weapon.
No.
Oh, yes, you do. Yeah, absolutely. You go to swing out at this guy, and this arrow thunk, knocks you off your balance, which is 7 points of piercing. Sorry, halved, so 4 points of
You
piercing.
mad, bro? You mad?
I have to rush into the building.
So you say that, but as the last one comes in, these two arrows come out, and then the doors slam shut.
I still know that they're in there.
Doesn't look like
Yeah.
there's any doors to me.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I mean, unless I try to attack the spiritual weapon, if it's still there.
It is still there. It just can't
Well, I
move.
mean, you attack the closest creature, but if it's a creature you can't get to, you're probably not going to attack them. Cool. That's all of them, I think. So he moved in, they shot. Yeah, okay, that's them. Has everyone had their move? What's happened? What? Sorry, I just missed what fucking step we're up to. Harrison, you're up.
Yeah.
Half of these guys are just
I know what I'll do for
out of initiative, but one
Yeah.
Leg it.
I was really hoping I wasn't going to get hit because I knew exactly what I was going to do.
Go bear mode.
This board's becoming a bit of a mess, so I'm just going to move the dead bodies.
Yeah, I was like, don't you fucking dare.
Just so we can see a bit more clearly what's happening here.
Surely.
So they're all in like a proper uniform, right?
These, since you've been on the Isle, these are the first uniform soldiers that you've seen. They're all wearing the same uniform, carrying the same weapons, the same shield, aside from the leader, who seems to be... He's still wearing a very similar looking outfit, but just a little more decorated.
I'm gonna say to them, right. If you're here to fight the bandits, we're fighting the same fight. They've taken hostages. And then I just sort of walk over.
We're fighting the same fight! He turns and runs away. Okay, cool.
Actually,
Okay, so is that you then?
Yep.
We're
Okay.
fighting the same fight. His companion runs. away.
Tordek, you do need a death saving throw at this point.
So the Tim is still together.
Tim's unconscious.
Oh, damn it.
He's
Am I stabilised by a knockout blow to the back of the head?
technically.
it was not
Is it
lethal damage.
Constitution as well? Or?
But I already took.
No, it's just a flat roll.
I
Just
already
it's
took
basically a
unconsciousness
50-50.
from this.
So that's one fail. Granrick, on your turn.
I rolled a 9 anyway.
Oh.
Or the two
I
and the
wouldn't know
six.
that they're there. I
Let's get
genuinely
them out of
wouldn't
the
know
way.
that they're there.
The
I
door's
wouldn't know that he's there.
the door's definitely closer.
I'd charge the door, surely.
Well,
Especially
it's-
if I
Depends on,
know-
depends on the door.
Especially if like I couldn't see him
You-
from where I was standing.
well,
Shut the fuck up.
he did just come running around the corner, and you guys are
It's
about
not like you can't
10,
hear
like
people.
20 feet, well, not 20 feet,
You've got
but like
super
30
hearing.
feet apart. Like, that's less than this room apart, and he's just come running around the corner. And you're stood there in this raged form. I'm going to say you would hear him at least and look over.
It's alright, just roll really shit.
Crit.
This is the downside to this class. You take half damage in battle, and you get to have an effect that when somebody hits you, they hurt themselves. This is the downside to it.
Yeah, I'd still
It's alright,
almost
he
argue
missed
that
the
I'd
attack
charge
anyway.
the door, which would have fucked me up later. But
Probably would have fucked you up more, but
Okay, so that was a miss.
yeah.
It's probably inside though. If they're not inside, like, you can't access them easy.
It's a very... I will find out a bit more information about it, because I can see that's going to be an ongoing
Yeah.
sort of dilemma.
Lucky's just
So I will find out.
salty boy Lucky.
Well, I mean, it is a fair question, but I'm just going by what I think would be appropriate. Okay,
if you have a pissed off bear, it's not going to go for the closest thing it can
You-
hear.
Not
It's
really.
going to go for
so
what it
the
can
way
see.
not
the
really
way I'm
fair,
assuming
though.
it is, you're here looking this way, and you hear this bang, bang, bang of somebody's footsteps, and you've
Yeah.
probably looked over and saw him. Because from where you were, you would be able to see him run around the corner to that cart. That's my reasoning.
It's all good.
Get DM'd, kid.
It's not like he hit anyway.
15, 20.
Well, even if you kill him, you're gonna get fucked up by some knights anyway.
We can't make it. You're stabilised.
Focus.
As
Like teabag.
none of you, unless you're peering out, can see it, so that's fine.
Can I roll a wake up?
I was gonna just drop me weapons anyway, but too bad you fucking
25,
shot me
he
through
actually
goals
can't
with
make
fucking
it.
crossbow.
So I know you're being nice and all, but shouldn't you have to roll a medicine check to stabilize?
25. It's magic.
Damn. What a shame.
Spare the dying. I've got spare the dying. I use it on myself.
It's going to stay there. Against. Jeez. These guys have turned up and just like, hi!
And ask.
We can roll good!
Hi and bye.
Alright.
You're unconscious.
So it's.
Still half.
Yeah, so it's 5 points from that, and then. Sorry, I'm just doubling, and then halving. Sorry, your attacks are a little bit whack. So it's 5 points from the sword, and then another 6 points from the dagger.
So you got 8, didn't you?
What?
It's
No.
raised
So 11.
I mean, you got healed again, didn't you?
Mm.
Forgot about that.
That's grim.
Sick. He
Uncle,
loves it.
is that Uncle Rico?
Oh no, it's a flip shit.
Oh, thank fuck.
Oh,
I
good.
just realised.
Thank fuck.
What was that for?
You would have got yourself killed.
Go on, rage marathon.
It's fine. I just realised I sort of... It's fine.
I can't believe none of you warned them.
Well, I just
I
got.
couldn't.
Yeah, I got cut down from behind.
Mainly you.
I told them they were on the same side.
You didn't warn them about the bear that when he gets hit loses his fucking mind.
Well, if we're on the same side, they have no need to attack us.
Okay, Harrison.
Maybe you should have better concentration, bro.
Constitution.
So they didn't
Is that
say
+3
anything to
on
my
C?
telling them.
Yeah.
True.
There's
I
no
don't care.
response. You get the sense, seeing what they did to Agatha, and I'll say, for illustration purposes, that you peer out from behind the cart to see one of them reach down and a blast of white light emits over Tordek. You assume they did something to stabilize him. You get the sense that regardless of whose side you're on, they're interested in subduing any sort of fighter here.
Drop him and then run anyway. What is that?
Yeah, I stow my weapons
Okay.
and then just sort of walk out there.
Yep.
Weapons down, hands up.
Okay.
For Droid. Down,
Um,
sorry.
Tordek, you're unconscious. Agatha's unconscious. Granrick.
So
I
hands up.
revert from their
Sure.
form
Okay.
But
and
still,
like sheath my weapon and put my hands behind my head.
Okay.
Bear.
Over.
If you listen to the fucking start of the sentence,
Okay. So, with you two surrendering and you two unconscious, I'll say that
I decided to sleep.
for the time being,
Long rest in peace.
for the time being, we're out of initiative. These two behind you, although you're surrendered, they come up and like take your arms as you've got them behind your head, knock you in the back of the knee and drop you to your knees, and you feel, unless you resist, what feels like iron manacles being attached to you.
That's
Are they gonna fit his bare hands?
So just saying.
I'm not a fucking bear. Did you not listen to the start of the sentence?
Doesn't feel like something
I
a
still
bear
have
would
full
say.
health and have
Can
only
I
used one
actually
short
hit
rest of the
him?
week.
Like,
Not from there.
no.
I know what you mean.
Do it.
Not as
what-
a bear.
No.
So these two move up to you, and basically go to do the same thing. They sort of move you against this wall, and sort of take your arms and begin to shackle you unless you resist.
Hey, there's no need to be so tough, fellas.
And
Unless
they
it's
just
taken on a date.
don't really communicate anything. They just shackle you, and put you against the wall.
That's the popo.
A little bit of time passes with you two sat over. You see they go over.
With-
The captain goes over, and you can see he seems to be checking the the consciousness of the others between the civilians who are dead on the ground and the people, the bandits that you were fighting.
The bandits are coming.
We got a prison.
I'll drop the soap.
Clip that.
So they move you two over there.
Scott, we're 4 turns closer to finishing a long rest.
You can see
I'm gonna
one
take
of them, in the time that it takes, you guys are... Okay, so what you guys see is basically they go around, check the other bodies, they go over and check the barn doors, and you can see from where you are this... Excuse me. There seems to be some sort of communication through the door before these two step back and just sort of hold there, keeping an eye on the bar, on the warehouse.
I whisper to you. Not that I think this will be necessary, but if it comes to it, you reckon you can pick the locks on the manacles?
I mean, if I can grab them.
You are manacled behind your hands,
Yeah.
just so you know. Like, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying
not
so
impossible.
you're aware. One of the soldiers goes over and seems to cast some sort of magic and brings these two back to consciousness after they're shackled, and brings them over to join you two over here.
We live in boys.
One of them stands watch while these two communicate a little bit.
I say sorry to Cordic.
While you're shackled.
Sure.
I'll look at you in disgust.
When I become a bear, I kind of lose control. Can't help it.
Kinda would have been nice to know that before you attacked us.
I really just forget it.
Forget that you become a
You
bear.
should wear like
No,
a
I know.
you should wear a sign around your neck that says, you know, avoid the bear or something.
But that lets them know
My
as well.
spell
No, you're conscious. So you come back to both of you come back to consciousness, feeling your arms pulled behind your back, and when you try to bring them around, you find that they're shackled together.
Let's see if I've got some
Beware.
verbal only components.
Yeah.
They bring you over and sit you down with your two companions. While you two are shackled, they do take your weapons and sit them aside, like not too far, but they basically sit them like
Can I,
over
like,
here.
Is my spiritual weapon still there? Can I just like...
No, when you went unconscious, it
Did
would
they
have
pick up my hand axes?
No,
They
there's
still
still
be on
there's
the
still
ground ages.
yeah, there's still various
dead
weapons.
bodies on the ground.
Yeah, there's still various weapons scattered around the place. So a little bit of conversing goes on between the soldiers and what appears to be their captain. Before, sorry if there's any crackling. I just realised for some reason my microphone cord is taut. Before the commander heads over towards you and says, "I don't know what kind of situation is going on here, but this seems to be a big fucking mess.
Language.
So I would like a straight answer as to who you are and why you are here."
To save an elfin girl. And I'm Tordic.
I'm Grundry.
I'm Haddison. Pretty much what he said.
Does he just shut up?
And this elven girl, she's here.
Inside.
She was a hostage.
Very well. You understand that we are here because a young man from this village rode to us and informed us that 4 companions, matching your descriptions, seemingly enough, were attacking the town. And we arrived to find the town burning and murdered people in the streets. So you'll understand why you're going to remain shackled and be accompanying us back to the...
Can I just point out that that man is a fucking idiot?
That man I've known for many years, his father as well. They're good men. His father died fighting in the war. So you can shut your mouth.
Doesn't change my statement.
Okay, he turns and
Can't
walks
wait.
away from you.
Can't wait for you to get knocked.
Watch them as he walks away. So he heads over to the other 2 guards who seem to be keeping an eye on
You
the
don't know
warehouse.
the word diplomacy, do you?
What do you mean?
Um,
community.
I just need to bring up my notes real quick, so just give me 2 seconds while
I'm
I
just being honest.
try and
That's all.
navigate this terrible iPad that I have set up here. Because I finally replaced the ink in the printer and I still haven't gotten around to printing out my physical notes, so feels bad.
Feels good, man.
Kind of sad there's no diplomacy skill in this.
Well, there's charisma, but none of you ever use it.
I have bad charisma. That's why.
I
I've got
try.
like +8 on diplomacy. For being
Well, I've got.
Pretty sure I have negative charisma actually.
Wait, what do you mean diplomacy? As in,
like, it was a skill
Persuasion.
like 3 points. Yeah. Well, it's not really persuasion.
Okay, good. Sorry, I found it. I found it. So a bit of time passes whilst the captain communicates with his two sort of watching the doors. He goes up, and you can see he's sort of leant against the door, conversing through it. Before this takes a little while, so if you guys have anything you would like to share in the meantime, now would be the time.
I look at the garden. Have some water.
No.
Okay.
Just continues to watch
You
you.
should just hold your breath. Just
I'd start holding my breath.
Okay.
Yeah, like really like emphasize that I'm holding my breath as well.
I know he's gonna die!
I don't know if this trick works on many people, but we're fairly well educated men. We know that Agonasti can hold their breath. So
Wait, you don't need a breath.
You'd be surprised, it works a lot.
after a bit of
I
time,
never tried.
this awkward interaction is interrupted by the sound of some sliding timber, and you see the doors of the warehouse swing open. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. And
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
you can see the three or the two soldiers and the captain move in. Not in any sort of combat. Like, they do have their weapons ready, but they seem to have negotiated some sort of peace.
They're gonna stitch us up.
And you see them go in. The doors remain open, but you see them go in, and discussions continue. Before eventually
We need to link it.
Eventually, the soldiers come back out with the 4 hostages, Silsey amongst them.
Were the hostages banned or anything?
Yes, yeah. They're brought out, and you can see as they come out, the soldiers cut their binds and release them, and a couple of them run off to a couple of the bodies that are in the street,
Surely Silsey can vouch for us.
and begin to sort of mourn over the loss that's come to their town.
Suckers.
But you can see both sides of the, what are we calling them? The bandits that you guys have been fighting, come out, and you can see that they've like sheathed their weapons, their bows slung or their crossbows slung over their shoulders, and you can see there's some more deliberation between the ranger and the captain before the bandits turn to leave and start heading out of the town, out through a couple of the buildings and start leaving. The captain makes his way back over.
I'll say shut the fuck up to fucking the fighter and the Agonasti.
Dumb hunter.
He comes over and says, right, everyone is to be loaded onto these carts. We'll take what supplies we can. He's sort of more talking to his men than to you. Says, they'll stay in one cart on their own with the crates. Everyone else, the survivors, will go in the second cart. We'll bring around the horses and we'll head back to the sanctuary. And you can see his men start heading off. A couple of them head out towards the road. A little bit of time passes before they come back leading about 5 horses. And they begin to sort of attach these carts to them. Eventually, if you guys want to do anything, just jump in at any point. But otherwise,
Yeah, ask him if Chelsea's the album girl's alright.
you ask her or you ask him.
I'll ask him.
She's sort of like lingering around over here with like some of the other survivors. Like you could probably shout out to
I'll
her.
just ask the
But,
captain.
you sort of ask him, and he sort of turns and acknowledges you, but doesn't reply.
Call out to her then. Fuck you.
I'm just glaring at him.
Yeah, okay. He seems used to it. A little bit of the supplies that the bandits had loaded onto these carts, they remove to make space for you, and load you into the back of one of these carts.
Actually, you call out to her. Ask her if she's alright. She likes you.
Yeah, she hates me.
Yeah, I will yell out to her and ask if she's okay.
She sort of like you have like line of sight to her, and you can see she's sort of there nervously sort of stood, not really sure what to do, and you call out to her and she sort of looks up for a second and then sort of diverts her eyes and sort of steps back out of sight.
Saved your life, we shouldn't have. We saved your life, we could take it.
She's dead.
So eventually you're loaded into the back of one of these carts. The survivors load up, and they take the remains of the townsfolk and move them into a more dignified area.
That's a scorching ray on one of the towns before we leave.
And cover them with some fabrics that they take from one of the houses. Before a couple of the guards sit up on top of the crates on your cart, the rest of them get up onto the other cart, and you start heading out of the town and away from Calavan, and continue down the road.
All this could have been avoided if somebody knew there was a bell on the door.
I don't think it may be
During that as well, you will notice, just in case you're wondering, they do seem to take
I knew there was a
any
bell.
weapons, including yours, anything that's left around, any sort of weapons, ammunition, anything like that, all gets loaded into the front cart as well.
Can I short rest?
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, for the purposes of this. So you're in the carts for a while. So yeah, you can benefit from a short rest.
Cool, that did pretty much nothing.
So am I on 1 hit point?
I should have rolled, I
I
suppose.
used
for
one
the-
short
yeah.
rest ability and still had full health.
So you come back on 5, you come back on 4.
Choose.
Oh, well.
And you guys took a lot of damage.
Is that
in that fight.
including the short rest?
No, so
I
you
took
had
especially
5
even
and then
more.
you do your short
You
rest.
took what?
I took especially even more from someone in particular.
You would have been
Wasn't
fine
me.
if you didn't hit.
It wasn't me, it was the bear.
Okay, I'll take the bear, so I'm not taking you then.
Yeah, it works. Seems fair.
What did that not go off? I'll take it.
Yeah, I need to heal.
Fuck off.
So,
Um,
the rest of... sorry, so I'm just doing time in my head. So it was about 2 a.m. So you're in these carts for quite some time.
Do you reckon we can just jimmy ourselves out of the car?
That
Yeah.
seems like a really fucking terrible idea.
I mean,
just jump out while it's moving, shackle's still on.
you could try.
Come get me! Fucking swatch it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do anything, or are you just talking out your ass?
Nah, I feel like we're in a pretty shit
I
spot.
just look at you and say, prison's not that bad.
Depends on if you swing that way or not.
So, some time passes. Eventually, the sun arcs up over the canopies,
Our sun arcs up.
and
It's like, fucking want some?
you continue through the better part of the morning. You continue through the better part of the morning until what feels like around midday, when you eventually see, looking past the cart in front of you, what looks like a walled city up ahead. Eventually, the carts make their way up to the doors, and you can see these large metal-banded timber doors swing open and allow the carts to pass through.
You get 4 colours.
As you pass in through,
You don't have the map handy.
Wait, 4 colours.
as you pass in through, you get the sense that this isn't so much a town, but more of a military installation. It seems to be.
Nothing Colts for us.
You can see there does seem to be residential buildings, various houses scattered around, but very few of them. There seems to be more sort of fortifications. There's an inner wall that you can see. But that's about all you have time to see before you're led into one of the side streets and unloaded from the carts. And then you're escorted through. As you're walking through these streets, though, continuing on through the city, you do see various soldiers. A lot of them very similar to the ones that you're being escorted by. A couple of them you spot look sort of similar to the captain of this small force. You do see some civilians getting around. A lot of them sort of interact with the soldiers, or more particularly the captain, and sort of acknowledge him, give him a nod, or some of them sort of go up and have a word with him. Before you continue on and are led into a small building. You enter this building and there's essentially a small sort of like room off to the left where there's some chairs and tables and stuff. And directly in front of the door is just a stairwell which leads down, sconces lighting the stairs on the way down.
No.
You're led down into what you immediately recognise as a jail, as there are just metal bars everywhere down here and various cells. And you are each thrown into an individual cell.
You lose your skill points if you.
And you're thrown into an individual cell without a word spoken from the guards, and they leave you there to attend to their other duties, and that's the end of the campaign. No, it's not.
The end.
No, but you are left in these shackles. You are side by side, so you can interact with each other. Your shackles are removed.
Are they like stone doors or like just?
So there's a main stone wall that runs along the front, which has like gates in them, and then there's metal bars between the cells to divide them.
Is there any guards in the room?
Yeah, so you notice there's like maybe 2 or 3 that seem to patrol around and just keep an eye out. This is a fairly big place, you get the sense. Like just in like the couple of hallways you went down, you would assume there's maybe 20, 30 cells in here. It's a pretty bleak place though. There's not much. There's no bunks or anything. There's a little bit of straw thrown out on the floor to make it a little more comfortable, but that's about it.
That's terrifying. But okay.
Is there anything you would like to do?
Does it want to break out or not?
Are you actually saying that out loud? Because I feel like that's a terrible idea.
Who's next to me?
We'll say it's this order. So you're in the first cell, which is about halfway down this hallway, and then you're next to him, you're next to him, you're next to him. You can stage whisper. So we know you're whispering, but speak loudly so people can
Do
hear you.
you want to break out? The guard hears him. The stage whispering, Scott.
I mean, I'm all for it, but we can't really disguise ourselves.
Pass the message on.
I'd do that and I'd ask you, do you want to break out?
I don't want to be here, but
One thumb for yes,
really.
2 thumbs for no.
You-
Or double yes.
You should probably ask him. I feel like it's going to be a no.
is he close enough that he would have heard them talking anyway?
Probably. Like all in all, you guys are probably about like no more. You and you are probably no more than like 30 feet apart.
I know sign language. I'm guessing that's a no. I had a cool plan.
Look,
We
worst case is we do it a different day and we see how this
Yeah, alright,
starts to pan
alright.
out.
I'll keep the idea banged up. But it was going to be cool. Just letting you know.
So, after a little bit of angrily staring at each other, you hear the door upstairs open and some heavy footfalls as somebody comes down the steps. And emerging at the bottom of the steps, you can see there's actually a dwarf who comes down, dressed in not armor or anything, but just robes.
Another fuckhead.
And he comes down and says, Right, you group from Dallas. Right, your first time here, I believe. Y'all look like outsiders. We'll bring you down some food. All the comforts you're going to get are in the cell with you. And in the morning, you'll see the lawmaster. Any questions that I want to answer? Very good. And he turns and walks away.
I just say thanks for your hospitality, but in Dwarvish.
You hear replied in Dwarvish, "You're welcome." As he heads back up the steps.
You're an idiot.
Fair.
So he heads back up the steps. After a little bit of time, some meals are brought in. It's pretty basic stuff. It's just like some slop. But anyway, it's a cooked meal. It's a little bit cold, but it's nice enough.
We should get arrested more often.
So
What's that? You're hungry? Let's go to jail.
You need a place to sleep? Let's go to jail.
Let's stab somebody.
eventually, eventually you spend enough time in here that you feel tired. So if you want to, you could go to sleep and
Yeah.
benefit from a long
Sure.
rest.
Yeah.
Did they all give us like one lockpick? Just one.
Yeah, you get to the bottom of your bowl and there's a single lockpick.
Thanks, Celsi.
Kind of wishing she would fight.
Pussy.
The guards.
What?
Kind of wishing the 7-year-old girl would fight.
What level's not?
Oh,
Just out of
11.
curiosity.
Was she?
2.
What level's what?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like this prison isn't really suited for magic use.
Yeah, because that's
And I might be wrong, there may be anti-magic, but
I highly doubt it.
just fucking wild shape into a mouse and leg it.
Or a bear. You've locked up a bear by accident. You're looking for an egg nasty. Let me out.
He turns to you like,
That would be pretty funny.
I didn't have a good idea to break that.
So die.
Bear.
So you eventually, albeit uneasily, get some rest. Has everyone done their rest? Everyone's happy?
Yeah, let me take a long rest, that's...
I mean, you don't have to. Jeez.
Just saying.
I'll take like
You gotta
16 short rests.
No, you get an exhaustion if you don't take a rest, right? Yeah, I'm gonna sleep then. Don't want to be exhausted.
Just gonna stare at the wall forever.
So
That
eventually,
was the plan, yeah.
I could just like short rest, scorching ray the wall, short rest, scorching rest, and burn my way out of prison.
so eventually,
Don't know. We'll find out. Depends on if I miss the wall.
eventually some guards come down. Not the same as you saw previously. These ones aren't necessarily wearing armor. You can see they are carrying weapons, and in their spare hand manacles. And they make their way down to you and sort of come up to the doors and say, "All right, bring your hands over. Put them together." And I'm assuming everybody does.
I should want to
After
illusion
like
manacles on my hands.
5 seconds, yeah.
Huh?
After like 5 or
Okay,
6 seconds.
sure.
I was told about.
What are you doing?
I want to cast my illusion. Already got manacles.
I mean, you can if you want.
And then like we're in court. Dobby's free. Boom boom.
Look, I feel like there are many levels in that plan.
Okay.
Very much about how shit we've been rolling.
Yeah, true. Just roll.
Just to start.
Imagine that, like, there's the commander, just 3 scorching ray crits. He's dead, and then I leave his and run.
Okay, so you're not doing that? I'm assuming?
No one can catch a 90-year-old tiefling.
So you're all shackled and brought out,
I'm 70.
and they lead you upstairs and out onto the street, and a couple of doors up to a large building. You're brought inside and taken through into a large chamber where you can see at the head of the room there's a small like obelisk podium type thing, and a couple of desks around. But you're basically sat down in these chairs which have fixings in them that they can attach your shackles to, which they do. So essentially, you are
That's when the minor illusion play was falling apart.
shackled to these chairs. the guards that are with you sort of
That's
step
when.
off to the side. You can see the
Not when they see you casting a spell.
yeah, or the fact that minor illusion is a 2D
Yeah.
plane, and the guards escorting you would be like,
As long as I stand at the exact same distance and I just don't move my hands. Shackles.
So, eventually, after like only a couple of minutes of waiting, some guards come out of a side door and sort of take up positions on either side of the room. Before a gnome comes out and sort of trudges over to the podium in the middle of the room and jumps up onto the podium. Looks down at you.
Oh no.
Looks back, sort of disappears behind the podium, obviously like reading something. But she reads over stuff and then leans back over and says, "Right. You four are charged with crimes against the Republic taking place in Dallas. These include assault, manslaughter, and theft. What say you?"
Correct, wrong, and wrong.
By all means, if you have evidence contrary to what I have here, now is the time.
What was that dude's name?
Andros.
Andros.
I like that this happens. You're like, and then all of you are like, Andros.
If you can track down Andros, or the hunter, whatever his name was as well, they'll be able to vouch for us.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I was just thinking something. Well, that will take some time, and I am a busy gnome, and I have a lot of things to do. So, if you don't have any evidence of your innocence, all we have is the words of...
We had the key that allowed us to enter the warehouse, which was given to us by Andros. So,
That would still
in
be
the faith
our
of
possession,
trust.
probably.
Yeah.
She looks over to one of the guards. The guard sort of goes back into the room that he came from, brings back your packs, and sort of looks over. Where is this key?
It was me. You didn't trust me.
I think I might have it.
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, so you tell him where it is. He goes through and finds this key, presents it to what you assume to be the lawmaster. She looks at it. Okay, so you have a key. I won't say this isn't nothing. This is nothing. Sorry.
He's turned Irish.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think about. Sorry.
Did you watch Law and Order before this?
No. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking.
It's not like strong evidence or whatever.
I'm just saying. No, sorry. I'm just saying about what the captain would have conferred to her. That's all. So yeah, sorry. I was trying to think of this before we begun this, but anyway.
We call forward witness.
I object.
Sidebar! Have you seen Ted 2?
So, this Andros, who, from what I understand, is some sort of storekeeper. Sure. I've spoke to the young man who rode here for help and informed us that you four were attacking the town and that they required aid.
Only some of them.
Yeah, only two were attacking this, not four.
Now, if I have it clear from the captain, you were not necessarily the biggest threat when they arrived, but you were still combative, and you are still charged with the assault of, if the young man is to be believed, you're still charged with the assault of the people and potentially the theft. Now, until I speak with this Andros, if he can be found, the theft will have to wait. As you are not being charged with murder, you will not be sentenced to death. However, I see fit to fine you in the name of the Republic, each 1,000 gold.
Well, technically, there was only 2 people committing assault, not 4.
1,000 gold
Aye.
for one man being punched by him, and then that was it.
For the assault of Tolkala residents, we do not take crime lightly here, nor do we take crime against an undefended village lightly here. I don't know if you're new or where you came from, but you are not in some lawless land like you may have thought when you set out here.
Do you reckon 39 gold will do?
Killing Alvin in the main city seems very lawless.
The troubles at Calavan is an ongoing issue that we sought to resolve. This, at the moment, in this court, has nothing to do with this particular trial. So, these are your fines. You will be moved back to the cells. You can collaborate whilst I try and find some more information about this theft.
Do we get any sort of discount for, literally saving the city
Saving the city, I believe
from
it
gnolls
was...
and a giant?
Gnolls and a
I
giant?
can lead you to the cave if you want.
What? Yes,
What's
by
that?
all means. Let me get my adventuring boots, and I'll set out with you four, and we'll head out to
Wonderful.
the cave.
When will we be leaving?
Take them back to the cells. I need to go and
Is
find
the ranger here?
the ranger.
Yeah, because they took him, didn't they?
None of what you just said makes sense. What?
The ranger, the one that we actually caught.
Yeah, the one that was caught, he was taken back, wasn't he?
I still don't know what you're talking
The
about.
dude that we caught, robbing
The dude that was
thing.
feeding the...
Right, okay, yes, him,
Yes.
yes. You haven't seen him since the night you interacted with him.
Oh, I thought you said he was caught with the other people, the other civilians.
So she looks over to one of the guards and says, take them to the cell, they can collaborate. I'm going to find some more information about this theft. And these...
So it's almost
Giants.
like this person punching someone.
So she heads off, and you guys are led back to your cells. And you have a moment to collaborate if you wish.
Would I know about spells and stuff?
Yeah. Oh, well, to what degree?
Like the spell zone of truth?
Surely that would be like a given...
Yeah, I mean, you've probably heard of it. Yeah, sure.
I say to one of the spellcasters, isn't Zone of Truth a thing? Can't they just cast that on us? I'll admit to the assault.
Yeah.
The theft wasn't us.
So we back in our jail cells?
Mm-hmm.
Can I cast Augury?
Augury?
What the fuck are you
Do you
doing?
have augury? Oh, okay. Sure.
What does this mean?
So, by casting or by using my materials, I receive an...
Do you want to keep it a secret from these guys?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know how much you knew about Augury.
I know what augury is. I'm just looking at the wording, but it's up to you. If you want to share it, you can. But
What does it do?
They're going to be sick for much longer.
Just gonna find out what to do. I'm just gonna sit there on my materials and...
do you have the materials?
I got a material bag, yeah.
Sure.
Do you? Yeah, you get a components pouch.
No, but I mean, we're in jail. Do you have it?
Oh, fuck, I wonder.
Up your butthole.
Unless somebody can give me some bones.
Oh, yeah, take
Yeah, I guess I can't cast it without my materials.
Does your class... Your class doesn't allow you to do this without components, does it?
I thought you looked at this last week.
I might be able to... It's cast at will.
Yeah,
But
can I just show me your beyond for a sec?
I think you can...
I don't think you need... Yeah, this is an invocation. You can do this without the...
Cool.
Yeah.
So the spell itself without being... Cool. Alright, well, I'll cast it and I'll cast as an invocation.
I believe. I might be misinterpreting that, but I'm pretty sure you can do it. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. What would you like to ask?
About breaking out of the jail.
Okay. Sure.
What's the spell to do?
I get guidance.
From like the devil.
Who says the devil?
Yeah, you are a tiefling.
So it's like the spell guidance then, essentially.
Kinda. but I get an invocation and I get told whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
So you take a moment to send out word to your chosen patron.
Devil.
Satan himself.
And as you wait for a response, you look around the room and you notice that from various prisoners over the years, there are various etchings in the stone around you. There's scratches marking days spent in these cells to various other things. As you're sort of looking around, you look over at one spot of the floor that's seemingly clear, and slowly but surely you watch the word woe etch into the stone.
Yeah, that's no good. Bad. Wheel for good results, woe for bad results. Wheel and woe for both good and bad results. So I think that means we should do it. Technically, they don't know what I saw.
Opposite day.
So,
You guys don't know what I saw.
in the interest of fast forwarding through this,
I broke out.
you're in here for another day, you're fed, and spend another night resting here. The morning comes around, and eventually you're brought back to the cell. Oh, back to the main chamber. And a very familiar series of events occurs. The gnome comes out, the guards flanked. And she says, right, I spent a bit of time chasing after this
And Ross.
Andros. Sure.
That's the one.
And he's nowhere to be found. Who is to be found is this hunter that you speak of.
Yay.
Now, he's told me about these gnolls. He didn't mention anything about a giant, but we'll come to that. He's told me about these gnolls, which does explain the thievery.
And our story.
He's also told me about the fight that broke out, which still holds you accountable for that.
Just me.
No, from what's to be understood, there were two of you involved, and the other two of you stood idly by and watched it happen.
I tried to break up the fight,
So
to which
did the
someone tried to
villagers.
punch me in the face.
Self-defense.
Yes, the unarmed villagers, the farmers, if I believe, who are now dead, tried to defend themselves from some heavily armed
I
and
was trying
armored
to stop the
adventurers.
fight.
So I'm still going to hold you accountable.
For trying to break up a fight.
A fight that you started.
I did not start the fight,
He did,
and I tried to stop him.
by punching somebody in the face.
When they tried to punch me, I tried to make sure he didn't join in the fight.
Yes, see, the thing is, let's take this sanctuary, for example. In these walls, you will find various armed men who are trained in combat, much like yourselves. We expect them to not go around starting fight with civilians, and if, for some reason, one of the civilians picks a fight with one of these soldiers, we expect them to act appropriately and try and disperse the situation without resorting to violence. This is no different anywhere you go on Aramor. We expect the same from everyone. These are our laws, and if you don't follow them, you are punished appropriately. Now, don't think that I am not taking into account the help that you gave to Dallas. You were not the ones who burnt it down. Do not feel like you are being punished for that. You did, in some convoluted way, try and help these people. It's an unfortunate series of events that occurred. I understand this. However, you will still be not punished. Punished is the wrong word for this. You will still be held accountable for the assault. Now, I am prepared to offer you a lesser charge. However, as it seems the two of you are more happily going to take the punishment, is that what you would like to do?
I'm here.
I'm asking Mr. Ganassi if you would like to take the punishment yourself, or shall I spread it evenly between you and your companions?
It was all on me.
And you? Okay, I will spread it evenly between the four of you as nobody wants to answer. She takes her quill. So,
Yes, that permits.
Hey, we paid the bribe fee.
I said I'd take it.
party of adventurers. I have your individual names.
Name's Joe.
Is there... Shall I write it out individually? Do you have a group name?
What's that?
Look on your face when you realised what I was asking.
Civilian killers.
Why would you put us on the spot like
I will write it out as individuals.
Oh. The Texas Chainsaw Massacres. Because we did it in Dallas.
Mr. Granrick,
Yes.
you are found guilty of assault. You will be charged 500 gold. Mr. Tordek, you have been found guilty of assault. You will be charged 400 gold. Mr. Harrison, you are found guilty of assault. You will be charged 500 gold. And Ms. Agatha, you have been found guilty of assault
And disturbing the peace.
What's an old lady gonna do to stop a fight?
and be charged 400 gold. Payments can be made at any point. If for some reason you cannot make your payments, you can speak with one of the men at this jail and he will provide you with options.
Options, please.
Until you're... It's probably best to speak with him beforehand, but until your debts are paid, you will be kept here under our surveillance. Now, that concludes this hearing. I have other things to attend to. They can go back to their cells. And she indicates for the guards to take you back.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
I said I'd take it.
You still punched him.
You still kicked a dude in the nuts.
Um,
Tried to punch me. I was making sure he didn't join the
Oh
fight.
no.
That one damage. You probably wouldn't have been
Non-lethal. He could have punched me and I wouldn't have felt.
I was trying to stop the fight. First thing you do when there's a fight is make sure other people don't join.
Restrained by death to nuts.
Yeah. You're unable to join the fight if he's on the
I
ground.
should have asked if I get a lesser sentence for being 17.
so, you are sent back to your
Try as a
cells.
child, bitch.
As you head in, you do pass one of the men that she was talking about, the men who sort of patrol and maintain the jail.
Ah,
If any of you would like to speak with him.
yeah.
The guard continues pushing you down the stairs and takes you down to your cell.
Damn. Can I ask about other means of paying the...
So you're locked in your cells and you wait for him to rotate around like about an hour later. And then, what would you like to ask?
What can we do to repay our debts?
Your charisma's like really shit, right?
17.
Oh no, it's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
right.
hard.
It just doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, sure.
It's got to have good charisma. I'll give him a reach around.
He's like,
Rusty trumpet.
yes. The Lawmaster, and he has this big smirk on his face. He's like, the Lawmaster told me that you four were going to be some kind of trouble. Apparently, you railed her the wrong way. Takes a little bit to do that to her, but I'm happy to have you staying here. I'll provide my hospitality while you are here.
Thank you, lovely.
So, do you have the gold to pay your charges?
illusion. Nope. You stood all saving that town.
He doesn't know what you're talking about, so he's like, okay. Well, there are various options for paying your charges. One of them is work, either here in the town or being taken out to do various tasks. The other is a daily rate. Essentially, the longer you stay in prison, we take a little bit off the lesser sentences. So, for instance, I believe you're charged with assault. You could stay in here for a while, and eventually your debt would go away.
How long's a while?
He pulls out a book.
Why the fuck are you doing that voice?
It's his nervous. It's her nervous voice. Like,
I don't want to die in here.
That's his way of it.
Yeah.
he
Can't wait
starts
to get a
flipping,
better
flipping
warlock.
through.
If it doesn't have 2 skill classes.
What? Oh. How much are you all owe? What do you need?
We load less than they do.
Yes. So if I have this written right, that means you would be here for around 100 days.
Yeah, that's my debt.
Oh, fuck, that's not that bad.
We could, yeah, but we could do service in
Can we like sort of combine the two?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Do you need a blacksmith by any chance?
I don't know. I could find out.
That'd be
Let's do
lovely.
service. Let's do service. Let's go out.
Service, yeah. At least we're doing something.
Outside the town.
Okay.
And then we'll make a break for it.
I'm gonna go mine this. See you later.
We
Yes.
fucking would too.
Okay. 4 volunteers for service combined with jail time.
Fuck that, I'm not doing jail.
Mr. Blacksmith, what is your name?
The name's Harrison Jones.
How do you spell it?
I don't know what these characters are named, so I can't spell it, sorry.
Harrison is skilled in blacksmithing. Very good. The rest of you, who is you are Agatha, I'm assuming. What are your talents?
Oh, don't really want to
He's like-
see mine. Breaking and entering.
He just jots down a couple of notes when you do that.
Talents include breaking into.
Very good.
Just say that you're a locksmith. A lock tester.
Master Granrick, what are your talents?
Look, he's like, fuck, what can I do?
Well, it's better than the other thing I can do.
You're cursed now.
It's still not even that.
I'm a child.
I
I can hold my breath.
can run with that.
I can swim underwater very fast.
So
That'd be slightly useful.
A man of so many talents, he can't bring himself to mention one of them. Mr. Tordek, I'm assuming that this is you. What are your talents?
I run with hold my breath underwater.
Medical aid and blacksmithing.
I don't know.
Wait, when you're a blacksmith? Oh, I'm an armor smith.
Good to know.
I do
What the fuck
alchemy,
is this?
tailoring.
Why can I not find this?
Do you have
on my
any
sheet?
tools that aren't thieves' tools?
It's the same manual labour.
Yeah, I got a card set and alchemist supplies.
Are you proficient with the alchemy set?
Where does it say?
It'll be a... I'm not sure where it is on those sheets, actually.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm not sure. I don't...
These are different to the ones that we had to the last.
Yeah, those printed out a little differently to prior sheets.
Oh yeah, no, that is proficiency. Is alchemist supplies.
You are proficient with it, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So your skills would,
You mean alchemist?
in this case, be alchemy.
Yeah, I don't really want to say the other ones, so
What are the other ones?
Very well.
Breaking and entering.
yeah, pretty good at that.
Good to know. Well, I, for one, am happy to have you in our service.
I'm pretty sure that like know that you have lockpicks in your bag.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna just straight up admit it.
He turns and heads up. A short time later, some guards come down carrying a set of shackles. They go, "Come here." You put your hands up.
Yep.
Okay. They put on these shackles. These ones look different to the ones that you previously had.
They're magical ones.
Yeah, you get the sense they're Dimeridian. They are anti-magic.
Probably shouldn't,
Genius.
probably shouldn't have given up.
You are now interned in this cell and also shackled.
Do you have any proficiencies that are useful?
They're actually up here, just so you know.
Up there, huh?
Yeah. Simple weapons.
So we're gonna skip through a bit of time here. So basically,
Good at survival.
none of you get taken outside of the town. Individually, at different times of the day, you get taken out to go and perform various tasks. As you
Do we
move
ever work
around,
together?
we'll come to that. So as you move around throughout this this town, this fort, this city, whatever you
How
might
big is the city?
like to call it, you get the sense that it is fairly large. Like nowhere near the size of Caliban, but you would assume there's quite a few people here. Most of them appear to be military personnel, or at least capable in terms of fighting. I forget where I was going with this, but I got completely distracted when you asked me what size it is, and now I can't remember what I was saying.
Classic Stooge.
Anyway, it's fine. We'll move on. So, Grunrick, you get taken out to an apothecary, essentially, and help to brew mainly healing potions, working alongside a alchemist.
Boring.
Tordek and Harrison, for the early days, you guys get taken individually to blacksmiths to help prepare various arms and armor. A lot of it is very much of the same stuff, the same sort of weapons, the same sort of.
Can I do like
armor.
clerical stuff instead of?
Yeah, so that will happen as well. Eventually, once sort of they get to know you a bit better, unless any of you for some reason decide to do something fucking nuts and try and like break out or whatever, which you're more than willing to do.
I just try to learn as much as I can from.
Yeah.
Like,
So you do
the
spend a
person
bit
I'm
of time
working
here doing this, so you will get a bit of experience and that kind of thing. Tordek, your time is split between offering aid to various people and sort of
Giving aids.
working with the clerics. Harrison, as you are spending a substantial amount of time in a blacksmith, is there anything you would like to do?
Smith.
I want to ask them if they have any sort of like knowledge as to where. I can't remember his name now. This is my backstory. I should remember the name.
oh fuck, I don't know.
Almost said something very bad.
Ublin is the name. Yeah, ask them if they've heard of Ublin, if they know anything about his whereabouts.
Make an insight check.
Insight 14.
Whoops. Oh, fuck. So, the smith who you are working alongside is hammering away on this breastplate. You ask, did you ever hear of a blacksmith called Ublin? And he sort of continues on. But you get the sense that he does know something of it. And he says, how do you know him?
He was part of my guild, I guess. I don't really know. My mentor knows him. I was just sent here to meet up with him at some point.
He continues hammering away on this breastplate. I did know Ublin. He was a smith in the Lightcast the last I saw him. I did see him been a long time.
Take a look at the Lightcast.
He left to go to Calavan? It wasn't to Calavan, to Donovan, perhaps. He sort of mumbles away to himself for a moment, trying to recall.
Wasn't color, man.
Eventually he says, I don't know exactly where he left to, but he left the Lightcast some months before we were attacked. It's, I guess, possible that he's still around, but I couldn't give you any indication as to where he might be. I'm sorry if you knew him. He might... I hope for your sake he's still alive. I haven't seen him in some years.
I've never met the man myself, but I hope he's alive too.
Same.
I guess... He wouldn't be at Calavan. Donovan, perhaps. You could try some of the forts. I haven't been around any of them, although I haven't heard of his name. And the forts generally exchange supplies with us. I would have heard him, I guess, or at least his name from the couriers, but unless he's made his way over, unless he's made his way. Oh, I beansed it before, didn't I? I said Aramore.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That's why I was like, oh,
Sorry, I meant Valrim.
I was like, how did we get there?
Yeah, sorry, I
quick
beansed it.
travel.
Unless he's made his way over to Aramore, perhaps, but I don't know what to draw him there. But that's all I know. I'm sorry.
Thank you anyway.
Okay, Agatha, you probably spend the least amount of time out of your cell.
Doing prostitution.
Who would want to fuck that?
I got good charisma.
They do occasionally bring you out.
I scared of kids.
Yeah, they do occasionally bring you out to just, help with some mundane shit, like
Jess.
just like, just to move some stuff around, or to sort of take notes. And
to do manual labor.
occasionally they have you note take for some hearings and stuff. You learn some pretty funny stuff about some of the things that go on.
shit.
You also see a lot of people get sentenced to death. It is probably one of the more common things, as most of the cases that go through this court are murder or other serious crimes.
I can get away with that.
Got away with murder.
Yeah, and you get the sense that there is some understanding after seeing the other punishments handed down. You get the sense that even though you were still charged with quite a substantial amount, you feel like with everything that transpired, you still probably there's an understanding that the people you were fighting were the bad guys, and that
We just got caught in the wrong,
Yeah,
That
how come
is
they can't still let him go?
understood.
wrong place at the wrong time.
Guards
Um,
corrupt.
We could have killed him.
No, just the leaders corrupt. Probably.
But eventually, between the work and the time that you spend here, around a month goes by before you before your debts are paid. With this time going by, we'll say that you have dinged, and you will earn a level up.
We did it.
All it took was prison.
I want to go to level 5. As soon as we step out, bang!
What a way to level up.
Punch a call.
So with this time as well, obviously you all gain experience in various non-combative aspects as well,
Had a sense to
between blacksmith, like healing, medical sort of stuff, which we'll talk about off stream. But yeah, basically
We should go to jail more often.
a fair bit of time goes by.
We should get
3 levels.
So knowing that about a month goes by, I didn't think to ask. You guys do have some gold. Did you want to put any of it towards it, or
No.
okay?
I don't.
No, if they're not putting it in towards, no point us putting it towards, because
Yeah.
we'll be at the same time.
True.
I was willing to do 50 towards it, but if you guys don't want to.
Well, we're all gonna get out at the same time, so.
Yeah.
Well, you can put money towards it. We don't have to.
Yeah, we're already going up after that bribe.
No.
Okay, so
And we didn't punch
That's
it
fine
or
then.
kick
So-
anybody.
I said I'd take it.
approximately the month goes by.
We're out for this, boys. Party for like 3 days.
Oh yeah, we get out first because our debts were less.
So
This is Luke's.
when
Let's set the jail on fire.
I'm assuming that like you guys collaborate and they release you all at the same time, or would you like to be like, no, we want to get out earlier?
A little bit.
It's up to you. You can do what you
they
like.
should get out earlier.
You could, and like,
Yeah,
don't
that's
feel
good.
like this is pressure because you guys could have this conversation
Nah,
at
fuck
any
these
various
pieces of
time.
shit. I'm getting out early. I'm not paying off their debt. They hit people.
Yeah, technically we didn't hit anybody, so
Self-defense.
the villagers also stood by and watched the fight. We're innocent bystanders as well.
We're just
I'm so like I want to
I'm
comment
innocent.
like every time you say stuff like that, but I'm going to
It's such a
assume you
stupid statement.
understand. Yeah, I'm going to assume you understand, and you're just playing dumb.
I'm an old lady.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm innocent.
Technically,
tried to
those
punch me.
villagers would have more strength than me.
So when
Yeah.
you two are released, the big smiley, happy-go-lucky guy lets you out.
I'll just say to him, well, I'll see you in like a week.
Don't even acknowledge you.
Brings you upstairs, and you can see that your equipment has been brought out, and it's laid out on the tables that are up in the upper chamber. And he sort of brings you up and he says, "Now, your equipment has all been returned. You will find that everything is accounted for. You can trust me. Now, a couple of things before you leave. You are now permitted to wander around here freely as guests or citizens if you feel like finding somewhere to stay.
Let's go pick a
Oh
file.
no, we don't get free food accommodation.
However, there are various rules that you should be aware of. Not only are you new to Sanctuary, you are also new to this bloody rock, I assume.
I'm going to write
So,
the rules down purely based on you're going to tell us the exact same thing.
Yep. while I'm giving you your weapons back, this is primarily a military installation. Your weapons should remain sheathed, and should you, for some reason, as you are the kind that like to get yourselves into various predicaments, need to fight something, I suggest you find a guard. There are plenty of them around, or a soldier, or anyone that isn't yourselves, and tell them what's going on before you start waving your swords around. Okay?
I don't have a sword.
Second, if you're out at night, you must carry a torch. It's very
Fair enough.
simple.
Does magic do?
No creeping around in the dark. That's about it, really.
Huh?
It's very simple. It's mainly don't pull your sword out because you'll get fucking beheaded.
I don't have a sword. I'm automatically immune.
Don't pull your
Immune to being banned.
Oh, magic as well. Just to clarify, I'm sure you understand that if somebody pulling out a sword means enough to deem them, a bad guy, that firing off fire across the room is probably not acceptable either.
So I can use little spells.
You are free to leave at any time, but for now, think of this as an open town, same as any other on the island.
Let's go punch somebody.
Any gestures for you to take your stuff? You pick everything up
Yeah.
and head on out if you wish.
Punch somebody, come back down. Hey guys, miss me.
No, 500 gold to pay off.
I can't wait to get another level.
Yeah, it was definitely the time spent in jail, not like all the previous combat and time spent in this campaign so far. Yeah.
There's a 100% correlation between going up levels and being in jail. I've seen no other way around it.
Okay, so with you two out, is there anything you want to do?
Fuck yeah.
Because we may as well try and wrap up this in the next. We got like a bit over 20 minutes left.
More levels.
Well, I want to find out, like,
So
why
if you
that guard let the
Yeah.
bandit go.
Yeah, let's do some sniffing around.
Let's pick a fort where we should be picking forts.
Oh shit, that's a big choice.
So as you spend your time,
Or if we catch up with the gnome, let's find out who set fire to the town. Because obviously they'll want to find that out, wouldn't they? Or just ask gossip.
Sals is dead to us, so
Well, that's not true.
Well, good to find out where they're taking them.
okay, what do you want to do then?
Where do you
Mate.
want to go?
Do I
guts
go
and
to
guts.
work?
Sure.
can we go to the blacksmith and just watch him work?
At the blacksmith, so sure.
I'll go to the apothecary. Huh.
Can I have this? Gets it already. Nah, actually, I don't want it anymore.
Can I have this food?
So as you make your way around and being familiar with sort of where you were working and that, you get the sense that a lot of these places, like the apothecary, you've managed to find it. But it's not necessarily a store. It is an apothecary. They do craft various potions and that there, but there's not necessarily like a storefront. There's no shelves where everything is. There's no staff to sell things to you. You can buy things from there, but it's more like you get the sense that this was once perhaps like a fort, a castle, some kind of defensive structure that's more been turned into a makeshift town. A lot of the buildings have been converted into residences, a lot of them bulk residences.
Are there like a few elves here and that?
Yeah, you do notice there are various elves, there are a couple of dwarves getting around.
Who needs to give Salsy to an orphanage when we can leave her here?
Yeah.
Job done. I think we just finished the
You would
campaign.
notice, actually, for the first time here, you would notice a tiefling as well.
Sexy.
Good to see you. Kind of
Is it a male?
No, it's a female tiefling. But yeah, and much the same with the blacksmith. The blacksmiths are always busy doing various things. People do occasionally come to the blacksmith and pay to have things repaired or forged, but a lot of it is just or army work. A lot of it's producing the same weapons or repairing the same weapons.
You know, what's his old health pots going for?
So health pots are around 50 gold.
Yeah, fuck that.
I'm pretty sure.
Just brew some on the side.
Yeah, run a side business.
That might be for a bigger size though. Let me check, but
That sounds about right.
I think that's about right.
More than I have.
Really? I'm finding those everywhere. Really?
Yeah, because Scott and I had to bust out money for a bride.
How much did you fucking bribe?
I don't want to know.
That's like 14 each or something, isn't it?
Even still.
Yeah, with 14 each, you should still have over 50.
No, I've got like 30.
I bought a fucking backpack and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, which is like 3 copper.
How the fuck do you not have 50?
How do you have 50? I'm so confused.
I remember
You
I
have
put
like
a
70 something?
specific
100.
tag
Yeah, I
in.
started with 0.
Oh, that yours makes more sense.
I have fuck all to begin with.
That's why I was eating food, because I had no
Because I'm a
money.
flesh demon. I mean,
Flesh demon.
war.
What does that mean?
What?
Flesh demon.
Sounds so wrong.
It's a
If
demon, not
anybody
life.
knows where to find potion costs, tell me.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it.
I think it's, I'm pretty sure it's 50 for standard healing
Yeah,
potions.
fuck that. Don't know.
90% sure.
Let's go find the guy that brought us in.
Let's go
Captain.
complete a mini quest.
Again.
Sure, do you want to track anyone down?
Yeah, I'll track that guy down.
The commander.
Commander, yeah.
Okay. So you sort of head away from
If
like
they're not
the gate that you came in through, away from a lot of the residential buildings and up towards sort of the sort of inner fort. And eventually you come across a large courtyard where during the day, as it is now, you find a large group of soldiers who appear to be training. A lot of them practicing one-on-one combat, some of them practicing archery, crossbows, various other things. A lot of them practicing unarmed combat. They seem to be trained in a lot of different styles of fighting, and primarily they seem to be trained very well. But you hang around this area long enough and you do eventually spot him coming down from sort of the inner keep.
I forgot. While I was in jail, I should have done like a montage, like Push-ups, getting shredded.
Closing that AC.
Yeah.
Dun,
Working with death.
dun, dun, dun.
Just
Sorry, that was
70-year-old
like the
dude.
longest build up. Yeah.
7-year-old tiefling, just, like pretty much Rocky now.
Okay. So yeah, he makes his way down. He sort of sees you and sort of recognizes that you're probably there to talk to him. And he sort of makes his way down and goes, "Oh, so they finally let you out.
We've done our time.
Have you learnt anything?"
We've been
to
stitched up.
He sort of smirks and he
Whatever you
says,
call it.
"You could say that, but from what I heard, I wouldn't say you got off lightly, actually. You gave the poor lawmaster a run for her money, and she doesn't really appreciate that.
We like to keep
Still-
people on their toes.
You didn't lose a limb or lose connection in your spine, so I'm assuming that you're pretty happy with the outcome.
We're not as guilty as you think we are.
Or you're more guilty than I think you are."
Well,
what?
what was the conversation you had with those thieves?
That's a conversation between myself and those thieves.
Well, if you know they're thieves, why'd you let them go?
Oof. He just admitted it.
I need to be somewhere, but by all means, walk with me.
Okay.
And he sort of walks past you two. You see he's got this crossbow slung over his back that, now that you get a sort of closer look
Didn't
at
even
it,
hurt. Just saying. I was only on 1 hit point.
now that you get a closer look at it, you can see it's a very intricately built, looks like it's been hand built over a fair bit of time, very customized. But you can see he heads off down through one of these streets and he says, "Have you, in your time here, been to Calavan?
Yes.
Yes.
And did you perhaps have any interaction with the town guard at Calavan?"
Yes.
Well, if you call them town guard.
Why? Your voice, jeez. Then perhaps you understand the predicament that the rightful forces of this land find themselves in. When the capital of this land is being maintained by cutthroats and bandits, you might call them.
Why doesn't a larger authority take over?
Well, because they have a demanding or a commanding position, you might say. They're already heavily rooted into the city, a city that has thousands of civilians. If we were to assault the city to take it back by force, thousands of civilians would die, which is not something that we're comfortable with.
Oh yeah.
Negotiations. He's like, with that, he's like, we have
Fucking back to jail with you.
I'm
We
not
have-
really wrong.
a very
insane.
specialist division of people that are stationed here. Their main priority is tailing people of interest, going unseen, sneaking into places that they shouldn't be. They're very good at tailing people and keeping notes. I could probably spare one of them.
What do you want me to do?
Not to murder innocent civilians would be a good start. I'm talking about having them follow you.
Just trying to help.
So, negotiations continue, but our primary objective is to keep civilians out of harm's way, which, when there are various hostages being held in a small barn by people with weapons, we're happy to compromise to let a few people leave in return for the safe passage of their hostages.
Why do they want Celsius so much?
The elf dilemma is still a bit of an unknown to us. You see, they don't communicate all that much back to us. I'm sure you can understand. When they first took the sea, they were happy enough for the elves to stay there. It was only week or 2 weeks or so after that they begun sending them out of the city, and those that refused to leave, well, we've heard tales, but they're at the moment unaccounted for. A lot of them fled here or further north, perhaps some to the south. There's not many large cities or anywhere for them to go to the south, so a lot of them either came here or continued on. Places like Ashvale, Kale, Donovan, I guess, if they were prepared to travel that far.
Where's Celsi now? Is she safe?
Celsi, the girl,
Oh, the
I'm
girl,
presuming. Yes, she's being cared for by someone. It's not something that I maintain or look after, but
Job's done.
Yeah.
we wouldn't leave a young girl to roam the streets on her own. She's being cared for, I assume.
Stupid.
That was our initial goal.
So what would you suggest a ragtag bunch of adventurers do to help sort your problem out?
He sort of stops. He's like, I don't suggest anything, but if you were prepared to go back to Calavan, and if you, by some miraculous means, managed to find out some information that would benefit us, well, that would be appreciated.
Could pretend to be elf hunters. And then be like,
Of
We
course,
can prove it by cutting off Celsius.
of course, I'm not asking you to do this, which means you do not have my support, you do not have my permission, and
We don't need Anna's permission because we're free people.
sure. He keeps walking again.
Just let him walk off. I'm done.
Okay.
Let's
But yeah.
party. Let's have a party week.
Otherwise, he continues off. As you're sort of heading around the city, you do pass a couple of places that seem to be bars or taverns, inns, various sort of public places for drinking or finding accommodation.
celebrate our freedom.
You also do pass various structures that are sort of share houses or common houses that do have signs out the front saying rooms available, that sort of thing.
I want to go back to my journal.
But yeah, is there anything else you want to do?
So we are at Fort Colas here.
Nope.
Oh, we're above that shindig one. The one next to the V for Valorant.
Probably find out where we are. I feel like you called it Sanctuary.
You get the sense, after spending a bit of time looking at the map and sort of thinking about the travel, you've probably had enough time to sort of think about it in your time in the jail, that you get the sense that you are at the marked place on the map, the nameless place on the map.
Okay. Can we find out what this place is actually called?
Do you want to just ask random people?
Hey, where are we? Yeah, we'll go to the apothecary.
Okay, you go to the apothecary. So, Granrick, you hear the door open, you look over, and it's Agatha and Tordek.
Hello!
Hey, I just go back to working.
Yeah. They've just got you like mixing some herbs and sort of preparing the base ingredients.
Get back to work, slave.
You feel incredible.
Shame! Shame!
The woman who runs the apothecary is sort of like not that close, but close enough to hear this, and you look over and you can see she's just got this smirk on her face, like she just lets it happen. She's like, almost like this is probably something that happens occasionally.
No. I'll ask you.
Just continue working, just ignoring them.
Scorching.
Scorching rain.
Yeah.
The
fuck are you doing?
How do you have a charisma of 17? How?
I'm so good looking.
Look up the hottest.
It's not a
7-year-old.
visual charisma. It's not an audio charisma. Like, there's nothing.
You never
There is
let-
nothing charismatic about your character.
You never let me roll persuasion.
I don't know what you're rolling for. You haven't said anything.
Oh no, just in
He says,
general. There's like flames coming out my throat. It's like.
You're just a disgusting being.
Charismatic people don't want to. They just don't want to.
She's like,
What a builder.
hi.
Could I ask, where are we? What is this for?
The apothecary.
If what Granrick has told me, you've been here for quite a while, and you still don't know the name of the place?
Nope.
You were right. It's Sanctuary. I don't understand.
She's senile, literally.
So you turn and walk out.
What are the town's guard called?
The
Do I have a name?
towns,
Do I have a name? Like Castle.
Is there an order?
they're not. They're not towns guard. They're the military of the Republic.
Fuck is like Castle?
Have you heard of Lightcast?
We don't know.
You guys don't know
Ali-
shit.
Ali who knows.
Unless you told us.
Oh. So, I mean, remember the old man on the boat who told you everything about the Republic? Probably should have listened to him.
Probably.
Because a lot of these
Would've
questions
been smart.
were in his information, but you guys were like, not paying attention.
We
So.
were. It's just
You
a
started
lot of
talking to us.
information.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of information, but that's also
Are
why
you
you
bringing
have
up the video?
books. Tim's like trying to look for it. What are your intelligence scores?
14.
12.
10.
12.
14.
We're not
Pretty
a very
smart.
smart group.
Fine.
14's
I will
pretty good.
say, as a 14, you hear Tordek sort of mumble under his breath, what the fuck is the Lightcast? And you sort of think about it for a moment and then remember, if what you remember is correct, the Lightcast is the name of the keep on Ashkull Point.
Give us a second. What part of episode 1 was that in?
Was it episode 2?
It was episode 1.
I'm at 16 minutes.
Ashful Point.
Ashkull.
Ashkull.
It's on the map.
Yeah, I can't see it from there. And Tim wasn't really helping.
Just keep going, guys. I'll wait till it comes up and I'll tell you.
Why are you like this?
Literally telling
Johnny's
us.
probably just got like the video saved.
I'm just on the Rat
Yeah, I
Project YouTube channel. If you want to find out in episode 1, go look.
Fucking hell.
Yep. I need to. That's what I need. Sorry, go on. Yep.
I just look at the the apothecary.
Yeah.
And I just go, she's literally batshit crazy.
I have a couple of potions that could help.
I don't think it will.
They're pretty good potions.
I mean, if you want to try.
Oh, I won't be giving them to you, but I'd happily let you take one if you document what happens when you give it to her.
I'll give it a go.
Okay. She brings over, like, she reaches over into a small box and, like, opens it up and pulls out this little vial that's about this big. And she hands it over, and it's sort of like this clear, yellowy kind of viscous material.
You're going to spike me through. I've still got that death stick, so you better watch it.
Alright, I say, alright, thank you. I'll tell you how it goes.
Please do.
I'm going to turn into a bear! Can't wait to miss everything.
Okay. Anything else you would like to do?
You got any bear potions?
You're not in here anymore. You left, as far as I know. Or have you come back in?
You left.
I said bye, I didn't mean I walked out the door.
You can come back in if you would like. The others are all still in there. You've just walked out now. You're just awkwardly standing out the front.
Yeah, I'll come back in.
Okay.
Have you got any beer potions?
No. Wait.
Then walk out again.
Yeah, we do. I think I've got one left. And she gets up and walks off. And she comes back with this little vial. She goes, yeah, I do. It's here. It's the last one I've got. I tell you what. Because I like you, I will let you have it for free.
Oh, thank you.
I'll roll inside on that.
She hands it over.
Do I roll inside on the bear potion? Or do I trust her?
Oh, you trust her.
You can if you want.
Bear potion. Yeah, fuck it, this seems sketchy. It's probably just water.
By any chance, is it a clear yellowy liquid?
No,
Fuck.
it's not.
He's got no idea what's going on.
Use
Wait,
it
what
to
was it?
test potions.
What was the
Inside.
Inside. 8.
It's a bear potion.
There's some truth to what she's saying, but you're not 100% sold.
Yeah, it attracts the nearest bear.
It attracts bears.
Grand Richter starts humping my leg. It's like, get the fuck off me.
Okay.
Bear
You have a bear potion.
Fuck yeah.
Quote unquote bear potion.
I want to know what the fuck this thing is.
We'll see.
When they leave, I ask her what it is. But
So
only,
that-
Yeah.
only let me know.
Yeah.
I've got a death stick and a bear potion. I'm fucking. Can I have the yellow one?
You don't know I have that.
Can you give it to me?
Okay. Anything else you two would like to do while you are
Free.
prematurely free?
Let's go to the blacksmith.
We do have a couple of minutes left, so if there's anything in particular you would like to
I ask her if I can just write down some of like the potions that I've been learning.
yeah, absolutely.
It seems like some other cool ranger tried to do
like-
something.
After like you've spent a bit of time there, you get the sense that you sort of memorize a lot of these, and there's various like paper or even like small tomes that you could repurpose for sketching in various recipes and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
Beans.
Anything else? Like anybody? Anything else you want to do?
Hassle.
Well, so I think we'll start next week with you guys getting out, essentially. So if there's anything you just want to do outside, we'll do that next week. If there's anything in particular,
We probably should
just right
use our
now.
time
But
more
yeah.
efficiently.
Hey, we found out what. I found out what.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys found out a bit of useful information. But otherwise, I think we'll wrap up there then.
I hope one of you took notes. Because I wasn't there.
All we've got to do is infiltrate and find information. That's all we have. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Going as
And
alpha,
Chelsea's okay, so.
Alright, so
which is not our problem anymore.
we'll wrap up there. I did see the streamer Red wrote before. I don't know if anybody reads chat, but I'm enjoying the episode.
I couldn't see shit from here.
We normally do sort of notice chat throughout, and this is something I need to remember to. I wrote myself a message. I need to remember to say this at the start because I always forget that we have an automatic message that doesn't work. But yeah, we normally do notice chat and we sort of read it, but in the interest of keeping the story going and trying to get stuff done within our 3 hours, we normally don't like stop to read chat. But at the end, we'll normally look through and like read through and acknowledge it, answer whatever we can or need to.
Is there any questions?
Bo said, "Good job, guys, except Scott. You know what you did."
You just shit at GTA, bro.
So just another quick note. There was a bunch of follows following a Reddit post. So if anybody's watching this, either in the VOD or whatever, thanks for checking it out.
Hope you like the table.
And yeah, thanks for the follows and stuff too. Yeah, it's nice. Like I was saying to Tim, because we recorded some Diablo last night. Like I spend a lot of time and effort on this setup, and 4 people get to see it. So I don't know. It's kind of nice
Well-
just to have some other people look at it and be like, yeah, that looks really cool.
8 people. Where do you go?
Yeah, no, that's cool. But yeah, no, thanks for checking it out, guys. And Burrow, yeah, what's up? Hi, welcome.
Sorry, you're a person.
But otherwise, was there anything else? I think that was about it.
Plugs.
YouTube.
Check out twitch.tv/tilted for nothing.
If you enjoy if you want to stay up to date with stuff either on YouTube or Twitch, the best place to do that is in our Discord, which is linked on both platforms. Otherwise, if you're watching live, you can put !Discord to join our Discord. Otherwise, I think that's about it. We've got some brand new Magic the Gathering stuff out on the YouTube channel, actually. I think the first physical card game went out today.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I have to have a look at youtube.com/project.
You're the worst. Otherwise, I think that's about it. We've got a whole bunch of new stuff coming up on the YouTube channel as well. So that's a good place. Like, it's a brand new channel. There's a lot of good stuff. Like, when I say good stuff, there's a lot of what I think is sort of quality stuff going out on it, and a lot of varied stuff as well. So check it out, I guess. Otherwise, that's about it. I don't really have anything else to say.
More Diablo coming.
Yeah,
Maybe a bit more Guts and Glory. That was fun.
maybe, yeah.
Scott and I will get into you one day and do something.
I'm down to do a horror series with you, Johnny.
That sounded a bit creepy.
I'm shit scared of horror, so
We could we'll talk about something off stream, I think, because Tim, I think, has a suspicion what I'm going to say. Anyway,
Smash Bros. In a month.
okay, that's it. We're going. This is going to draw out forever,
Yeah,
otherwise.
we will. Yeah, we don't keep it too long.
There is something on the tip of my tongue that I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
I thought you said Survivor.
I don't know. Okay.
do a Rat Project Survival.
I don't know what it was. All right, we're done. Thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully.
See ya.
If
Bye.
I'm dead from alcohol poisoning.